And we are live. Welcome back to the Honest Truth Truth Seekers Live podcast. It is so good to have you all on the channel. So good to have you all here. I am excited. I was just watching President Biden's speech and address in America. It was good. I think Biden is speaking coherently and doing well for himself right now. I know we have a lot of people that are split as far as politics go, so I won't get into that. Having said that, I did enjoy that speech. It's always good to stay abreast on our political system and things of that nature. We're doing a new camera angle because I have really liked the camera angle we've been doing for our You Can't Handle the Truth series. Let me do a sound check really quickly and make sure I'm coming in loud and clear. One second. We'll also wait a couple minutes just to make sure that we get everybody into the chat room. So good to see a couple people already in here waiting. I'm excited, and y'all are not gonna you're not gonna want to miss this show today. This show is gonna be absolutely wild. Probably one of the more wild shows we've had as of recently. All right. We're coming in nice and clear. Nice and clear. So the Manosphere is falling apart. I'll get right into it. 13 people watching. Huge shout out to everybody that's already in here. The Manosphere is literally falling apart right now. I kid you not. I have video proof. I have actual evidence to back up exactly what I'm saying. Expose the Manosphere says nice setup. Thank you so much. My fried edges are back once again. I was gonna go get an edge up today, and the dust in me wouldn't let me go. I said, well, what if they end up messing up and cutting a bit too close to your dreads or something? And then I sat back when I cut the webcam on. I said, dude, what's wrong with you? Looking dusty, man. You tripping? So I'm almost there. I'm ready to go get a fade, guys. I'm getting ready to evolve my dust into a new level of sub dust. It's going to be a wonderful process. Anyways, getting back into it. Love you, X. Welcome. Jaleesa Monesa. Good to see you in here. Love you, love you, love you. Tulip personality. Welcome. Expose the Manosphere. Welcome. Nikki God, forgive me. Ogundele. Forgive me, Nikki, in my ignorance. The Manosphere is falling apart. Organic Black, huge channel contributor in the building. Asia Gazelle, Wagwan, Laura Garrow, always the first to comment. Is falling apart. The reason I titled this what I did is because we're going to be going at Coach Greg Adams. We're going to be going at EDP445. And a lot of people who don't know this man, who is slammedcavi254. Now, slammedcavi254 is a man who recently murdered his entire family. We'll get into that article. I was asked to put the news articles in the description so you can read them for yourself. But while we go ahead and get into this, let's set the premise and the preface for this video up. I need to show you exactly what I mean when I say that the manosphere is falling apart. They are turning on themselves actively. This is the white manosphere, the purple manosphere, the Asian manosphere, and the black manosphere. Obviously, we're setting ourselves against the black manosphere because most of us are black people, but the manosphere stands in solidarity for the most part. However, after you see this video, you'll start to see exactly what I'm talking about and why I do what I do. I was recently on a panel today. The men had no other option but to make fun of my forehead, or a five head as they called it, and to try and expose me. But everything they've said, I've already said about myself. They try to use my dust against me, but you can't do that once I used my dust against myself. It's not possible. Let me share my screen with you, and let's get into this first video. Now, this first video has to do with a man named Richard Cooper. Richard Cooper is a man who is a leader in the manosphere. He is wealthy. He's made plenty of videos for years on end talking about the manosphere and how horrible women are and things of this nature. Mind you, he's in a great relationship right now, might I end. Let's listen to what Richard Cooper has to say about the manosphere as he explains why he'll no longer be making videos on the manosphere. What a surprise. What a time to be alive. One of the biggest contributors, and when I say the biggest contributor, I'm talking about a man who has probably estimated around 300 to 400,000 subscribers, explaining why his channel going forward will not be covering manosphere type content.
A lot of guys in my community don't have a lot of patience and tolerance for it because it's quite childish. That's what it's turned into. It's turned into a bunch of men that behave like women. They behave like children, little girls, in fact. And it's become exhausting. I'm not doing any more speaking of.
So he's saying that the manosphere is turning into a place where it's just a bunch of children, essentially, a bunch of little girls and boys and things of that nature. And he's not the only one saying this. He's not the only one saying this. A lot of the commenters are actually saying the same thing. I want to fast forward to, actually, we'll listen to a little bit more and we'll keep going on. I just want to set the premise and the preface, whatever is the right word to use in this case, for this live stream so we can understand why I'm saying the things I say, and they'll make sense later in the future.
Events at any of these conferences ever again. unless I am either facilitating it with my group. So Rule Zero, with the main core group, with that, we'll have our own live event at some point this year, hopefully when COVID opens up. Right now, we're in the stupidest level of lockdown here in Ontario.
Let's fast forward.
Feel for where I'm going. I'm looking forward to 2021 and where everything goes with the channel. I mean, I've been at this since May 2014, so we're coming up on 7 years now. 7 years.
This man's been in the Manosphere for 7 years, and he's finally giving it a rest. He's saying, you know what, I'm getting tired of it. I'm tired of seeing all the men going against each other, and I just think that it's children at the end of the day bickering and babbling. We'll continue a bit more, and we'll move on with the subject matter of our live stream today.
In fact, because we're the end of April. So 7 years in the making. This is where I'm at, guys. Got a garage full of supercars. Life is great. Got a great circle of friends. The 5 people I spend the most time with are amazing. I really enjoyed hanging out with them and doing cool shit. So anyway, follow me on all the links. You can check it out on social media. I do post from time to time.
There's
parts of my life that I keep private for obvious reasons, because there's some lunatics out there. So tight. And I look forward to sharing more of this car with you guys.
Let's see. I thought that he said something else that's really important.
Enviers are really, really problematic, and you're going to get them in all walks of life.
Anyways, he said something else. I can't find it right now. But this is Richard Cooper. Google him, YouTube him. You'll see that he is one of the biggest content creators in the Manosphere. He's giving up on the Manosphere, essentially. And he's saying that he's done with it. He's tired of it. All right. What's more interesting is a comment, and I screenshot this comment. I want to read to it word for word what one of his followers said. They said, you're giving up the red pill? You're giving up the Manosphere? Well, what are we supposed to do now? Let me read you this comment. This comment was made by David T. He says, I'm confused, bro. Should we date women while understanding their nature or go full monk mode? What do you think is best? And this is what I always say about the Manosphere. There is no answer in the Manosphere because the Manosphere doesn't have your best intentions. Richard Cooper was able to buy a $300,000 McLaren based off of you ignorant, lost buffoons who sleep lonely at night, encouraging other men to sleep lonely at night by their lonesome as well. His garage is full of 2 supercars, meanwhile actually admitting that he's in a long-term relationship with a woman while you're alone and donating your hard-earned money or hard dust money to a man who cares nothing about you. And then you get a comment like David T saying, well, what are we supposed to do now? What am I going to do now? Because you realize that you're just another buffoon following another man while he capitalizes off of your ignorance and your loneliness. Nicholas Pickle says, my comment got deleted. Sometimes YouTube does that. They are really strict on the comments. So Expose the Manosphere says, most of these dudes who claim they're done with the Manosphere never truly leave it. Potentially, possibly. Loren says, we're back. Really quickly, guys. Huge shout out to Loren and uniqueboutiquecandles.com. We will be doing the giveaway later on in the stream. It's the second giveaway from uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Check the description box if you're watching this on the replay. Make sure that you visit uniqueboutiquecandles.com to get the best scents for your abode. I don't say that lightly. We support ourselves. We support Black excellence. We support Black business, and we support good people at the end of the day. It's not always about black and white and this and that. Buttercup Bean said, Biden. Yeah, definitely. Kina said, is it their daddy? They mad because he took them off the tit. Right. They don't know what to do to themselves now. They're tripping. They're stumbling. Sinking. I'm falling. I can't get up. Shanice Coleman says, you would think women were aliens the way that they talk about us. I tell you what, we're going to get into this. Let's get into this. No more waiting and delaying. Our numbers are getting a bit bigger. I see when we talk about the Manosphere, and I figured out the notification. If you're not getting notifications, make sure that you set the notification bell to all notifications and not personalized. Initially, when you click it, it's set to personalized notifications. All right, make sure you set it all. Jedi Mike in the building. It's good to see you in here. Let's move on. A man recently murdered his entire family. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen, the mainstream media is starting to pick up on the Manosphere, okay? I want to say that. I also want to make light of the fact that incels in Texas, involuntary celibates, are actually seen as domestic terrorists, all right? The federal government has labeled involuntary celibate men as domestic terrorists in Texas. I made a video on this a while back, and I was going against it. And I felt bad that the government was starting to put the light on incels and men like myself who were failures in life and hateful of women and things of that nature. And now I realize that they're absolutely right. You know why? Because Stephen Broderick is why. Stephen Broderick is a Texas ex-cop accused of killing his wife and daughter before triggering a manhunt and showed interest in anti-feminist personalities and online spaces. Lord have mercy. I got to give credit to where credit's due on this. Uppity Unicorn was the one who shined light on this story for me, as well as a man named Grandmaster Troll. I don't have his link right now, but I will give Uppity Unicorn's link. Make sure you subscribe to Uppity Unicorn, one of the most peaceful live streams I've watched consistently. Uppity Unicorn's link is right there in the description box. A man killed his family. He was an ex-Texas cop, and he's been following anti-feminist personalities because here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. The truth about the manosphere is that if there's already hatred, or if there's already division or unstable mentalities or mind logic or illogical reasonings in the mind, the manosphere is going to only shake that up like a snow globe, turn it upside down, and then release them into the general public. They claim that they're helping, but really they're disturbing some of the most mentally disturbed. Now, in this case, this man who murdered his entire family was not just a murderer, but also a convicted sensual offender. The reason that he ended up killing his entire family was because his wife left him, or his girlfriend or whatever at the time, because he was molesting a minor. Okay. I don't know if it says all that. Maybe I messed up the story. Maybe I didn't. Either way, it doesn't relish him to any mercy in this case. All right. The Daily Beast linked accused former Travis County Sheriff Stephen Broderick, a good black cop, quote unquote, right? We finally got a black cop in here, and he's out here killing his family, to two online monikers, SlamCavi and SlamCavi254, the latter of which include his apparent area code. While the user of the first account mostly participated in car-related message boards more than a decade ago, the latter handle in recent years participated in threads on the r/seduction subreddit and started an Etsy account that favored just one shop, that of Coach Greg Adams. Lord have mercy, Coach Greg. And see, this is why I fight so hard, and this is why I don't understand you men. I can't say the N-word anymore because I can't monetize these live streams. I just never understand you. The only online Etsy account that this man followed or made clothing that was based off of was Coach Greg Adams. Coach Greg Adams, if you don't know, is the man responsible for the live stream, The Pedophilic Manosphere. When we started diving into the jokes about dating women at junior colleges and dating 18-year-old girls and this and that, Coach Greg Adams is the main purveyor of the 154 or 60,000 subscribers that he has that is trying to chase after underage and barely legal age girls, not women, girls. Coach Greg Adams. So is there any coincidence that a black cop murders his entire family and just so happens to be one of the biggest followers of Coach Greg Adams? Is there any coincidence? Obviously, we know the answer is not. But when you have an unstable person who's a failure in life, who is a sociopath and a psychopath and has sociopathic and psychopathic thought processes and reasonings, when they're exposed to the radical mindsets like the manosphere, then you have situations like this happen. And the media is starting to pick up on it now. The government's starting to pick up on it now. You can be a loser all you want to, but eventually they're going to come crashing down on the manosphere. It's just a matter of time. I've said that before, and I said this a couple of months ago. Eventually they're going to end up destroying themselves. And what ended up happening? Now they're destroying themselves. They're saying, you know what? I don't want to be a part of the manosphere anymore, because you're all children. You're all ignorant. And this is, once again, shining my ignorance towards children and really giving children a bad name. But the men are saying, yo, y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. Weird people, yo. Y'all are off. Something's wrong with you. Coach Greg Adams sold a shirt, among other things, embezzled and blazoned, I don't even know that's a word, wow, with the slogan, "The future is still male." Local news media identified the three victims of the shootings as Broderick's ex-wife, daughter, and the latter's boyfriend. So he offed his ex-wife, his daughter, and her boyfriend. This is a picture of them right here. All right. A follower of the manosphere. Now, I know what Coach Greg Adams is going to say. Coach Greg Adams is going to say, well, just because somebody that like me did something bad doesn't mean that I'm bad. Right? You have people in the church that also molested little boys. You have people in this and people in that. Well, you're right to an extent, but here's where you're effed up and here's where you're messed up, okay? Here's where you're messed up. Yes, people do bad things that follow people in the church or this or that. But whenever a priest is caught molesting a child, whenever a priest is caught doing something bad, a lot of those people see it as public duty to relinquish themselves or relieve themselves from attending that church service. That's what naturally happens. You end up doing something bad and it's publicized, then you're going to have to pay publicly for it. You're going to lose what you worked hard for. That's the way that it goes in society, or in a moral society. Very rarely can somebody do something very outlandish and then nothing of recourse happens, right? Very rarely, unless it's R. Kelly sometimes, because black men just loved his music so much, and a lot of black women did too. R. Kelly made it through the loops for a while. All right. Having said that, very rarely does this happen. Okay. your message is not just linked to this man in this case. We've already talked about Renegade One, who ended up taking his life. We've already talked about a lot of other incidences where following people in the Manosphere, and we're going to get into this next one here in a little bit, has led to negative consequences and incidences. This is just yet another idea and just another way to prove that the Manosphere is truly negative. Stephen Broderick in the Killeen, Texas area just north of Austin began using the handle slammedcavi in the mid-2000s on 3 forums, right? We already talked about that a little bit. And and let me just let you hear how sociopathic this guy was. They said last year in July, a Reddit user with his name responded to the question, what did you experience in life and or witness a long time ago that still makes you laugh harder than it should? You know what this guy's answer was? A blind guy refusing help across the street and getting hit by a car. He said this happened in 1998. That's this guy's idea of comedy, right? These types of men are who fill the manosphere predominantly. They are off of their rocker. There's something very wrong with these people. All right. I don't just say that just to say that. When you read the comments in Tevin Scamuel's chat, when you read the comments in Jessica X's chat, when you read the comments in Coach Greg Adams' chat, and you see the hatred, you see the evilness, you see the recklessness, you see the misogyny, you see the true toxic masculinity in these comments, then you can understand and really start to get a grasp of what type of men are in this community. That's why you have men like Richard Cooper saying, you know what, y'all need help. I'm out. I made my money off of you idiots, and I'm done with you. Let's move on to EDP445 and the crux of this conversation. EDP445, for those of you who do not know and understand, was a very popular YouTuber. When I say very popular, I think EDP445 had 2 million subscribers. Something ridiculous, right? Something just outlandishly high. It's just a wild number. Oh, also, if you want to be in the giveaway, we're going to do it in a couple minutes here. We're going to do it in a couple. And you know what? We're going to do the giveaway right now. I'm doing the giveaway. If you donated to the channel recently, if you're a channel member, your name is in this bucket. I double verified. If I draw a name and it doesn't, and I don't see this person is typically in the chat, then I'll go ahead and just redraw, So I have a pretty good idea of everybody that follows us right now. We're a small little community. We're growing. However, saying that, I know everybody that's in here right now. Hello, Latoya Brown. Good to see you in here. Kira says that's awful. Absolutely. It's horrible. It's horrible. But, this is the nature of the manosphere. Black Buttercup said, oop. Jaleesa Monet said, that's so incredibly sad. Horrible. I can never imagine killing my own daughter. My ex-wife, my own daughter. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Queen of the South says, I never heard that part of the story about molesting. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm mixing my stories up. But I'm pretty sure the reason that she left him to begin with was because he was caught with a minor. I'm pretty sure. Queen of the South said, Coach Greg is on Etsy. Plot twist. I think it's the clothing that he has on there. See, he has some clothing on there, and he followed his Etsy. Jojo One said, that's a subreddit. Listen, Reddit is a wild place. I'm starting to figure out. I'm not quite on Reddit, but I have no idea. Loren said, LOL. Oh, cool. Yes, candles make great gifts. Yes, they do. And somebody's about to get gifted with a candle right now. Without further delay, let's shake this up. This is my little Halloween bucket. I'm not going to look at it. Should I grab one at random? Okay, here we go. The winner of the second Unique Boutique Candle giveaway is Asia Pride. I have not seen Asia Pride in this chat in a while, to be completely honest with you. So Asia, you have 24 hours right now to report to Loren. If you do not report, then the second or the primary winner in this case will be, oh gosh. It is Marina. I don't know if I see Marina either. I'm not going to lie. Marina, I think I saw you 2 streams ago. Marina, if you're in the chat, you have won. Asia Pride, you're the first up. Marina, you are the second up. And let me just draw one more, just so we know. All right, just so we know. All right. The third potential winner is... Yo, I don't think Sammy's in the chat anymore either. God, Sammy. All right, y'all. Well, you know what? Here's the deal, okay? Here's how we're going to do this. I should have updated this a bit. Yo, I am dusty. Asia Pride, you're number 1, okay? Marina, you're number 2, all right? Sammy, you're number 3. I'm going to draw one more. I might draw 2 more. What's with Eddie at him? I know Eddie doesn't watch anymore. I'm going to draw one more, guys. Oh, man, this is dusty, man. This is about as dusty as you can get. Black Woman Sisterhood. Okay, Black Woman Sisterhood is definitely in here. Okay, so the list in order, guys. Once again, Asia Pride, you are number one. I can't remember number two. Who was number two? Sammy, you're number two. Marina, you are number three, and Black Woman Sisterhood is number four. Follow, I know y'all, I am like trash. Honestly, I'm trash, like straight up. Follow Unique Boutique Candles on Instagram at Unique Boutique Candles. Also, if you go to the website, once again, uniqueboutiquecandles.com, then you can, let me put your Instagram page just so, I've already dusted it up, so we can dust it up a bit more real quick. You know what I'm saying? And guys, if you didn't win, you can go to the website, get a great discount, sign up for um, the for the mailing list. You get 25% discount on your first purchase. Absolutely worth it. 24 hours, guys, for those names that I mentioned. Follow, send a direct message to Loren to claim your prize. She'll get with you. Marina was second. Okay, thank you, Magnificent One. Y'all got my back. I am dust. I am absolute dust. All right, we're moving on. Watch it on the replay one more time so I don't mess it up. Let's continue. EDP445. For those of you who do not know, I'll show you a picture of EDP445. Let us share here. Let us share my screen. EDP445 was a strong follower of the sphere of man. All right, this is him right here. Yeah, he's a pretty large guy. And I hate to play this. This is going to demonetize the entire video. But for the sake of time, I have to play it. For the sake of me really going into who he is, I have to play it and show you what type of man we're speaking about here. Okay. I have to show you this. I can't not show you this. Warning. This is very vulgar language. Very vulgar language. Okay.
So I said fuck it and ordered me a goddamn sex doll. The fucking real reason behind this goddamn choice is because, let's be fucking real, I'm not getting any fucking pussy anytime soon. So I figured, fuck it. I live alone. I can walk around this bitch naked as fuck, and I can pull that fucking bitch out, make sure she's taken care of, pull that bitch out, and just ram my fucking dick down her fucking throat. I got that realistic ass fucking moan.
All right. Okay. This is. I gotta stop you here. I gotta stop you here just for a second. These are the type of men that are in the manosphere. These are the type of men that claim that they're being done wrong by women. Okay. This is the type of man that follows in the manosphere. So when you see these hate comments and things like that, when you see comments calling women linebackers and calling them refrigerators and things of that nature, these are the types of men that are making these comments. Because they can't get any women, they've turned to straight hatred. Because they can't get any women, they've turned to sex dolls. Because they can't get any women, they inspire new generations of men to live lives in hatred of which they've never even experienced before, to live lives of rejection, right? This is it right here. Let's continue.
Fucking porn star voice, my nigga, for an extra fucking $300. Fuck it, my nigga. Live life like it's your last, my nigga, because your bitch ass can be taken out the game any fucking time soon, man. You feel me? So yeah, my nigga, I'm gonna fucking whip my dick out and I'm gonna be fucking the shit out that bitch, man.
2 million subscribers on YouTube. This man had 2 million subscribers on YouTube. Let that speak about how degenerate men in socio-capitalistic America are. Let that speak to how degenerate men in the manosphere are. Let that speak to just how far we've fallen from social morality. 2 million plus. 2 million. 2 million plus. This was a prominent member of YouTube. This is a prominent member in the Black manosphere. Why is he so aggressive? I have no idea. Some find it funny. I find it utterly repulsive. 2 million.
I mean, the way I see it, my nigga, fuck it. I mean, like, who gives a shit, nigga? At least this motherfucking way, you don't have to sit back and deal with some annoying ass, nagging fucking woman bugging the fuck out of you, annoying the shit out of you, fucking complaining and shit all fucking day, just bitching like a motherfucking newborn. You get the idea.
So he's upset because he can't get any women, right? So he buys a sex doll. So he buys the sex doll. And he says, you know what, this is good because now I don't have to deal with any women. But you were just upset that you couldn't get any women to begin with. This is the mindset of the manosphere right here. This is the mindset of most of these losers in life. They call me a loser. They say that I can't get any women. I bring up the fact I was on a live panel today. I said, bro, I have no problem getting women. Well, why aren't you married then? Because I don't have financial resources. Oh, so you're dusty. Yeah, I am dusty. I am. Oh, okay, well, you're just a dusty ass dude, this, and this. I said, you know what? I might be. I won't be forever, but and definitely I might be. So they try to use my truth against me. They try to use my honesty against me, right? Try and trap and corner me. But at the same time, they're the ones that are upset talking about child support for the hour beforehand, talking about how it's so bad that they're in child support. So I said, well, I might be dusty, but I don't owe child support and I don't have family courts out to get me because of my responsibilities that I mishandled. So you can call me dusty all you want. I'm dusty and happy. I'm dusty and better looking more likely than you. And at the end of the day, it's not even necessarily just about looks. But since you want to try and attack me on such a personal level and things of that nature, then I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to fight dirty against you as well. All right. So we're going to fight dirty. I'll fight dirty. You can't fight clean with these dudes, right? You can't fight man and have a genuine conversation with these dudes because these dudes are not right upstairs. There's something very wrong with them. So getting back to this EDP445 thing, and getting back to this EDP445 thing, this is exactly what we're dealing with here. Let's continue. We'll finish it off and then keep it going.
Yeah, just bitching like a motherfucking hoe up on her fucking period, my nigga. You feel me? So, yeah, can't wait to fucking get that bitch, my nigga. I'm gonna fuck the shit out.
All right. I apologize once again for having to play that. It was definitely intense. Once again, Uppity Unicorn was the one that put me on to this situation as far as the men in the Manosphere who have been doing bad. Make sure that you check out her channel. She is in the chat as well below. I will make sure to include her channel again right now and in the description box after we post this. Okay. That's EDP445. So for those of you who don't know, who was recently jailed, I believe he's in jail right now, for attempting to meet up with a 13-year-old minor. Now, the pedophilic Manosphere video that I recently made goes out against Coach Greg Adams and the men who encourage dating women who are 18 or freshly 18. Matter of fact, they're predators towards these women and these girls because they understand that they're girls, their mindset's not fully entrenched in reality, and they're just trying to live life and live their best life. So when a man like EDP445 who has clout and or money and things of that nature approaches a younger girl, they see a promising time or relationship. Most of the time with a man like EDP, they don't. But in this case, he thought that he found a 13-year-old girl that did. All right. So let's get into that video really quickly. We'll stop sharing this page just to give you a little bit of the background on him. We're going to share a quick video. I know we got a lot of videos today, but it's worth it. All right. Now, when they asked EDP why he was there to meet with a 13-year-old girl, this was his answer. All right. Once again, I'm not down to body shame and things of that nature. It's very immature to body shame and do whatever it might be. That's not what I'm about, but we have to watch this.
Again, so what brings you out here today?
Well, I was coming out here to.
Glasses off.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home.
Right. So his excuse was that he wanted to pick up a cupcake and go back home. Right. That's why he's meeting with a 13-year-old girl. We'll watch a bit more footage on the situation, and we'll explain exactly what I think about EDP445. Also, by the way, if you want to know what EDP stands for, it stands for Eat That P Word. It's the female anatomy that makes them a woman. Need I say again, 2 million subscribers. All right. Here we go.
Logo is meant to be.
Okay, fair play. So again, you mentioned to admitting to having this fantasy with someone with a big age gap.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you said to us, you know exactly what we mean, but I truly don't. He truly doesn't. So what do you mean by that?
That's a good question.
Sure.
Are you guys cops?
No, we're not cops.
We're not cops,
We're not cops.
but we
No,
have worked with law enforcement.
But we can't forward this to cops because
Yeah, absolutely.
most definitely this is not your first time either, right?
Right.
This is absolutely not. How many times have you done this?
So he said this isn't his first time either. Okay. Listen, protect your daughters, protect your wives. Coach Greg Adams, these are the men that follow you. You want to fight hard against me and claim that it's so wrong that I'm persecuting and chastising you, Coach Greg Adams, because he's watching right now. I bet my AdSense checks for the rest of the year that Coach Greg Adams is literally watching me right now. that he's in the building right now. You think that I'm really just falsely persecuting and chastising you when these are the types of men that you are creating? Because here's the deal. If you're making it okay for a man to look at an 18-year-old girl and say, oh, it's okay because she turned 18, and in some cases 16 and 17 and things of that nature, do you honestly think that the switch is just going to completely go off for their attraction towards a 15 and a 16-year-old? And let me let you know something I heard Coach Greg Adams say, I think today or yesterday on his live stream. He said this on his live stream. I can't play it because obviously we have problems when we do this. That women and girls start to develop in the 13s and 14s and 15s. This is what he said, right? He said, y'all gonna get upset at me for saying this, but they're developing early. Even if we know that's the truth, that's just a weird point to try and point out about developing girls. We know that they develop early. But the way he said it, he's trying to prove himself that since they're developing early, it's more socially acceptable to try and get with a 16 to 17 in some states and an 18-year-old girl because they develop earlier, right? Okay, that's cool. But when you open that floodgate to making it socially and morally acceptable to going after 18-year-old girls, then it starts to numb the effects of breaking the law and going after 15 and 16-year-olds. Because what's going on in these demented men's head is that, well, you know what? She's only got a couple more years till she's 18. And you know what? She's kind of mature. And you know what? Honestly, she seems like she's probably been with the older guy before. He says this all the time. Why is it so wrong for me, Coach Ray Adams, to be with an 18-year-old girl when these girls are out making Lonely's fans and OnlyFans? Why is it so wrong for me to actually want a girl that's 18 who's of good childbearing age? Nigga, you already have 2 kids. You're 50 years old. If you're telling me that you want an 18-year-old for the sole purpose of actually bearing children and bearing your future legacy, then you're not just lying to me and everybody on your channel, but you're lying to yourself as well. Because you preach out against actively going and pursuing relationships with women to have children and your struggles for divorce court. That's the reason that you got divorced to begin with. So you're lying to everybody saying that, oh, I want a 18-year-old or 17-year-old girl because she could actually have kids. It's biology, it's science, it's anatomy, it's evolution. But you don't want kids to begin with. So why would that be an important determining factor for you to peruse a sensual attraction or a mate when that's not even what you'll be utilizing her body and her physical appearance for? You're not getting with her to have children. You've already spoken out about how you got destroyed in child support. So why would you try and use that as your main reason to getting with the 18-year-old girl? That doesn't make any sense to me. Weird ass niggas. Lorenz says, has these dudes never seen Chris Hansen on Dateline? You would think not. I mean, with the modern advance in technology, you could be talking to anybody on the phone, but they get so desperate, they get so riled up, they get so emotionally charged. They're such losers that they're willing to take that risk. They're willing to take that risk. Jojo One says, develop as far as the onset of puberty, not mentally mature though. They don't look at any of that. They look at a body and say, oh, she's developing like a woman. She must be a woman. She must be a woman. Latoya Brown says he needs to be in jail. Ebony Jador says this dude off. Absolutely. Mother Earth channel member says Predator Sphere. Lorenz says the jokes got me rolling. Yo, they ended up destroying him in that interview for copyright. I can't say too much. And he says, I feel sorry for his daughters. And that's what I always say. And you know what? He responded to what I said. He said in one of the live streams a week ago, he says, my daughter's going to somebody's going to end up blowing her back out. This dude said this about his own daughter. And let me let y'all know what a guy said to me on a live stream earlier today. Right? I was on a live stream earlier today. I was like, you know what? I'll swat the bee's nest a bit. I don't mind. I was on a live stream earlier today, and a man told me that a black man told me that his daughters aren't even his responsibility. He doesn't owe his daughters anything. I kid you not. His words were, he doesn't owe his daughters anything. Let me try and find this really quickly. I should have had this ready. I completely forgot. You know what? I'll play it on the next live stream. Just take my word for it. Y'all know I don't lie about anything. I have no reason to lie. This dude told me that he's not a part of the community. He doesn't care about being a part of the community, so much to the fact that he doesn't even owe his own daughters anything. I said, what? I said, bro, that's a new one, bro. I've never heard any man. And he said he loves his daughters. I said, bro, how could you say that about your daughters? He's like, my daughters understand if they didn't learn from me and how I raised them, then that's their fault. That's what this man told me. I said, God forbid you're a child of a man like that. But this is most of the men in the manosphere. Laura Garrett says all child predators are nasty. Nasty is not even the word for it. In medieval times and in certain days, child predators and in certain prisons in Central America and in North America, they fail to exist once they go to jail. Most convicts don't do well with child predators. Most convicts don't do well. Queen of the South says the gaming channel is really how he had access to young people before he had a larger channel. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So he had a gaming channel. Wow. Jojo One says Michael Jordan meme. That's a crying meme. She needs Golden says, Jesus Christ, why would you say that about your own daughters, your own flesh and blood? Yo, when I heard that, I was like, whoa, that's some deep, cold-blooded hatred right there. That's deep. I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. You know, you'll hear about men who get thrown through child support, and then the mother, you know, kind of sways the children to hate the father or this and that. I understand that. I get that sometimes that happens. But even so, at the end of the day, you're still gonna have love for that child, man, because that's your child. For you to say that you raised your children and everything was good with the mom, and you still don't owe them anything if they haven't learned from you, I mean, my God, bro. Like, what are you really on this earth for? What are you living for? Martin Luther King said, if a man hasn't found something worth dying for, it's unfit for him to live. If you're not willing to die for your own child, if you feel like you don't owe your child anything, I don't respect you as a human being. I don't respect you as your existence. I don't respect anything about you. And get this. This is most black men who feel this way. Hate to say it. Hate to say it. Kira says, well, I hope he feels the same way when they put him in a nursing home. Right. You don't expect those girls to take care of you when you've been talking about them like that? You don't owe them anything? What goes around comes around, my friend. Laura Garrett says adults is one thing, but underage, ew. And here's what I have to say about this. Uppity Unicorn talked about this a bit too. The gap in dating. Let me take this off the screen for a second. The gap in dating is one thing, right? So I understand, even if you want to get into this legal they're 18 argument and things of that nature, I get it, right? I get it. But here's the thing. It's still a little weird for a 50-year-old man to be seen with an 18 or 19 or 20-year-old girl. That's off. That's weird. We look at that when that happens. That's not normal. That shows a sign of arrested development. I don't care what your scientific or biological arguments are for attraction. This is what Coach Graham always talk about. Well, it's biological for me to be attracted to them. Yeah, I get that. You can see an 18 or 19-year-old woman and do feel some physical attraction for that. I get that. But we're talking about something more serious here when you're actually seeking only 18 or 19-year-old girls, women, 16, 17-year-old, purely for sport, for lack of a better term, right? When you make jokes about only wanting to chase 18 and 19-year-old girls, let me show y'all something really quickly. Let me see if I can find this comment. Some guy left a comment on my channel the other day. I didn't prepare any notes. I'm just going off the top. I'm passionate today. Some guy left a comment on my channel the other day saying he only dates 18-year-old girls. I went to his YouTube page, and y'all got to see this man. I said, bro, what? Like, bro, who you lying to, bro? There's no 18-year-old girl that's dating you. This dude's got videos of him playing guitar, sitting on his bed, taking dust to the next stratosphere. Let me see if I can find this. This is the typical man in the manosphere. I think he's on the comments. I should have. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Give me 20 seconds. Give me 20 seconds. Let me try and scroll through and find this. And really quickly, I got to give you a huge shout out to the mods, the people who are actually banning the comments and things of that nature after the videos are posted. Huge shout out to y'all. The mods have been working hard recently, and guess what? They're going to continue to work hard in the near future because we've got some more hatred coming towards us. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones. Gosh dang it! Oh man, I should have saved this dude's channel, man. Oh, I'm so sad. Should have saved this dude's link. Huh. Okay, 30 more seconds, guys. 30 more seconds. I know. Also, if you'd like to donate to the channel, you can see the Cash App and the PayPal link in the description. Feel free to donate. It would be very thankful to continue bringing you good content like this. Continue to up our equipment, our lighting, our cameras, and things of that nature. Huge thank you to all of the contributors. All right, 20 more seconds. If I don't find it, I'll stop. But dang it, I would have loved to see it. Anyways, I'll have to find it and show it to you guys sometimes. It was mind-numbingly hilarious. I said, well, it's bold of him to make a comment like that and to actually show himself online. I, I'm sure he's not getting chased after by any 18 or 19-year-old women. All right. Unless he's just got millions of dollars in the bank, which I don't see happening given the setting that he was recording his videos at. And maybe he does. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but this dude was looking lost. Let's read some of the comments really quickly. Read some of these comments. Laura Garso, stop effing saying that you're not trash. Thank you, Laura. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Use tampons in the building. Maya in the building. Honest truth. Good to see you, Maya. Good to see you. Uppity Unicorn says you've got great mods. Thank you, Uppity Unicorn. And she says, forgive me if I miss any greetings or comments. I'm watching and editing at the same time. Not a problem, Uppity. Not a problem. Kina says, hey, Uppity Unicorn. Uppity Unicorn also says the Instagram of Coach Greg Adams is just as perverted and scary. Wow. I haven't seen that. You know who I have been seeing a lot of TikTok of is Kevin Samuels. I've been seeing him pop up on TikTok. And I think I saved a couple videos from that. Let me see if I saved any. I kept a couple just for pure humor. Let me see if I have any. He's been popping up all over TikTok, and men are rejoicing, obviously, because they feel like their savior has arrived. They feel like their failures are finally going to be accounted for in a positive way. All right. And I think I deleted them. I don't have anything, man. I'll read some more comments in a second. I really do want to find this comment for y'all. Everybody's leaving because I'm being boring. I'm sorry. I will have to find it later. All right. Now reading a couple more comments. Shanice says, and isn't he a coach for children? Yeah, Shanice, Coach Greg Adams coached girls basketball in middle school, I think high school as well. Right? Middle school and high school. Q says they're gonna be like end up like Black Rob talking about I should be popping and 50 plus and die alone, right? That's insane. Insane. If you watch the You Can't Handle the Truth episode of the just divorced and recent and now married to a highly successful six-figure earning high value man, it's really a great story, you know, and Jazzy was a great guest on the broadcast. She was very transparent, and she told the story about how her mother took in the entire block. She's a single mother, but literally at one point in their house, they had 15 people living inside their house because her other families and her other relatives weren't taking care of their children. And so they didn't have anywhere to stay. They would have been on the street. And so a single mother brought in other children of other families to raise responsibly in her household for years on end. Single mothers. All right. Single mothers. Yeah, black men would have you believe that black single mothers are the demons of the community. Queen of this house says, oh no, a basketball coach for girls, you can't make this up. He talks about it all the time. Can't make it up. You can't make this up. And he uses it. What's crazy is he uses it to prove points, right? He'll say, trust me, I know women nature. I was a basketball coach for these girls, and I would hear them talking about them, and I would hear them and hear that. Yeah, I'm sure you did hear them. I'm sure you made sure to hear everything that they said. Weird ass niggas, man. Weird ass dudes. Let's watch a little bit more of this EDP445 video here. It's pretty entertaining. Shouldn't get copyright struck for it. We'll see. Channel goes down. You know what happened. Onward March. We'll make sure we're playing one. Okay, here we go.
This is actually my first time.
You just said it wasn't your first time, and now you say it is. Second time?
What was the first?
So the first time was,
And I mean, so he admitted. I mean, I don't know if we can give him any credit for admitting that it's a second time hitting up a minor. Is that credit worthy? You know,
so you guys know about the 15-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So she was hitting me up through the DMs in which she engaged first.
Right.
Because let's be real here. A lot of people, right, when they see celebrities, you know, like the check marks and stuff, and no, I'm not trying to sit back and throw a guilt trip and make people feel sorry for me. I'm not doing that. So
Right. Yeah.
so don't try to turn and twist and shit. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. He's going.
So when people sit back, right, especially young girls, right, the 15-year-old.
and see, this is what I've always been saying. Young girls are impressionable minds. okay, they see status and they say, wow, that's nice. This is what I'd like. And so this man is saying everything that I'm saying, right? That I've been saying. That the manosphere, men of the manosphere are straight up predators, because what they try and do is they'll try and levy and try and leverage their status as older men, since they should be on their stuff because they're 40 and 50 years old, most of them. They'll try and leverage that and use it to the benefit of dating young girls, because young girls do like nice things. We all like nice things, right? Let's be honest here. We all like nice things. And so they'll try to say, well, this is how it's supposed to work in society. I'm an older guy. I have more access to things. I have the ability to. And so it should be okay. There's nothing wrong with me for going after an 18-year-old girl. That should be fine. This is how it's supposed to work in a healthy relationships. This is how it's supposed to work until they get the opportunity to do something negative, right? Until they get the opportunity to break the law, right? And in that case, it's difficult once again for that off switch to go off, because they've been rationalizing what already should be pretty much irrational behavior and illogical thought processes, but they've been fixating themselves on this for years and years and years and years, to where they finally get the opportunity, when they finally get the chance to score. Who cares if she's 1 year underage? She's about to be 18 anyways. And you know what? 17 is really close to 18. It's just one number away. One's a small number. Will I get caught? Does it really matter? This is the way it's supposed to be anyway. I'm an older guy. She's a younger female. And they'll start rationalizing breaking the law. This is how it is. So, Coach Greg, since you are watching right now, this is what you're creating. Donovan Sharp, this is what you're creating. Kevin Scamiel doesn't really talk about dating 18-year-old girls, but he says he can't swap them off with a stick, right, with the mop or with the broom. He says, I got to beat them off with the broom, right? This is what you're creating right here, right? This is what you're creating. The drive for them is so intense that they can't help but go after it, even if it means breaking the law. And one of the commenters that said, don't they know about Chris Hansen? Don't they know about tracing IPs? Don't they know about sting operations and this and that? Most of the people that go on Chris Hansen's show and they ask that question, they'll say, I've seen the show before. They'll be like, I know this is wrong. They'll be like, I know everything that you're saying. There were even guys that would be on Chris Hansen that researched the laws before they actually got into the shows. One guy in particular tried to write up a marriage contract for a girl, because he said, well, if you can sign this marriage contract, if your mom lets you sign this marriage contract, then it's technically legal. The manosphere and men in the manosphere aren't set in reasoning. They're set in what's acceptable by law and how they can get around that or evade that. Let me tell you this, and I said this before. I haven't said this actually before, I typed it in. I would estimate, and I said this on Up at the Unicorn's channel, that if men had the opportunity, the men of the manosphere had the opportunity to sleep with a 16 or 17-year-old girl, even though that this is apparently consensually legal in some states, even if it wasn't 16 or 17 in some states, if they had the opportunity to sleep with the girl and get away with it, I would estimate that 90% of men in the manosphere would wholeheartedly, 90 to 95, I said 99% on Up at the Unicorn channel. I would estimate that 90 to 95% of these men would have no problem consummating physical relationships with a minor if they knew 1000% they would get away with it. 90 to 95%, I would estimate. And that might be being conservative, because you know what? If they see that there's nothing wrong with 18, they really don't see anything other than it breaking the law being wrong with going with the 17 or a 16-year-old. They don't see that that's wrong. They're just looking at the law, right? So if they know that the law won't be something that holds them accountable, then all of a sudden that need to rationalize against the law isn't there, because I can't get caught. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what I have to say. I have men on here saying they're not pedophiles. They're still not breaking the law. But if the law didn't exist, just how far are we willing to take this conversation and argument against what I'm saying? If the law didn't exist and you really knew that nobody would ever find out your dirty skeletons in the closet, how far and how young would you be willing to go if you knew you would get away with it? That's the scary part here. They're already willing. Latoya Brown said they'd be willing to risk it all. They're already willing to risk it all, and the law's going against them. You have a man like EDP who is a millionaire off of YouTube that could have no problem paying women to meet up with him. He's sad because he's not in in the best physical shape, and that he's a sociopath, so women don't want to click up and actually meet with him under normal circumstances in a relationship. So he decides to buy a sex doll and this and that. You're weird, bro. So women aren't going to like weird dudes. Yeah, you have money, but it says something about you. And even if you're a millionaire, women don't want to hang out with you. How weird do you have to be rich and women still don't want to hang out with you, bro? That's indicative of a severe mental deficiency. Okay, you got some serious problems if you're rich and you still can't get women. And that's EDP445. And at the end of the day, the only option that he had was going after a fake 15-year-old girl because she messaged him first. Well, she took interest in me, right? She took interest in me. ASC says LMAO. Like, bruh, how are you a millionaire but you still dry, bro? God almighty, y'all niggas are sad. Y'all niggas are down bad, bro. Like bad. Liberty says, how does a millionaire man on YouTube have so much problems getting women in real life? Up unicorn season men are better described with the term epibophilia. Yeah, and Laura Guerrero said the same thing. Up unicorn. This is what I say to this. Epibophilia is the liking of girls from 15 and 19. But here's the problem I have with this. Yeah, that's the actual technical term for them. But in this case, in ADP's case, I think he was going after a 13-year-old girl. Now, yes, that's the actual politically correct term, but it's still pedophilic nature and tendencies is what I mean by that. And here's what I say to this upper unicorn. Yes, 15 and 19 is epibophilia. But when we start talking about age gaps, and what I really liked about Uppity Unicorn's channel when she started talking about age gaps and dating one time is that this is where it starts to get pedophilic for me. And this is why I say pedophilia, Uppity Unicorn. So I agree with what you're saying. You're 1000% right. However, when you talk about a 30-year age gap or 32 years in the case of an 18-year-old going for a 50-year-old, Coach Greg Adams, 32-year-old age gap, if you were to reduce to, I don't know, 32 years old and the 32-year-old going for something 32 years younger than him, that would be a 0-year-old or an infant, right? Let's just say even if it was 20 years and the guys will be like, well, that's not fair. You can't say that it's pedophilia just because he's 50 and she's 18. Yeah, but we're talking about a 32-year age gap in mental development. And so by my standards, 32 and 0 is the definite term of pedophilia. So that's why I say pedophilic tendencies, and they truly are pedophiles at the end of the day. So ephobophilias, yes, and epophiles, that's a tough ass word to say. Yes, they are. Uppity Unicorn's 1000% right. I try and make it sound worse. Sorry. Uppity Unicorn says she's agreed. Listen, I love you, Uppity Unicorn. Even if you disagree, I still love you. Lord Bishop says, sorry, I'm late, but I'm here. Also, Keena says, at that point, it's semantics. There's still a pedo. Yeah, and I'm kind of arguing semantics too a bit, to be honest with you. Predatory. Great. I 1000% agree, Ebony. 1000% agree. Let's continue. EDP, let's continue. I've talked enough.
Well, not the 13-year-old. When they see people with check marks and stuff, oh, shit, this and that, you know what I mean? Like you're famous, you're hot, all that. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's what they do. Now, as far as the whole fantasy goes, you know what I mean? Let's be real, okay? You know what I mean?
Like, that's the part where I'm not picking up on. I genuinely don't know what you mean.
Full fantasies, that's what I mean.
Okay, so, and I'm not calling you the P word, if you know what I mean. I'm not calling you the P word, but do you fantasize about females under the age of 16, yes or no? Sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
I got to give this guy credit. I mean, he's being brutally honest here. I mean, just brutal, severe honesty. Maybe he knew he was caught. Maybe he tried to, I thought that was funny. Maybe he's trying to weasel himself out of this and try and figure out a way to where he doesn't have to face the repercussions of this. But he's being honest. He says he fantasizes about, and he's not the only guy, right? He's not the only guy. And this is why I tie it back into the manosphere. We watched that first video of him talking about buying a sex doll, right? We watched that first video of him talking about why he can't get women and this and that. Most of the men in the manosphere can't get women. All right. Oh, I exited off the video. Most of the men in the manosphere can't get women. That's why they're in the manosphere to begin with. I was watching on Aja Gazalia's channel. She was talking with the guy, and the guy said the only reason he's in the manosphere is because his girlfriend broke up with him, and he hasn't been able to get a girl since. So now he's angry and hateful of all women. And guess what? I understand that. I was hateful on women too at some point. I get it. But you have to at one point wake up and realize that this is not helping you, this is hurting you, and it's hurting everything and everybody around you. You have to finally accept the fact that the problem isn't with the women, but it's with yourself. And until you accept that fact, you're going to continue to dive deeper in your despair like EDP is. You're going to continue to dive deeper in your despair like Tevin Samuels is. You're going to continue to dive deeper in your despair like Craig Adams is, while leading millions in EDP445 cases off the wall and off the cliff to fall behind you. Until you check yourself as a man and realize that you need to get your shit together and that nobody owes you anything. If you are an active participant in the manosphere, you will continue to be a complete loser and will face the repercussions of your loser-like decisions that you make in life. We'll continue. Let me actually make sure. Hold on. I need to make sure that I share the audio here. So 55 people watching, one of the larger crowds that we've had as of recently. Good to see everybody in here. Onward march.
Obviously, you fantasize about a 13-year-old, correct? Yes or no? Okay. So, if it's a 13-year-old, so when was the first time you fantasized about like an 11-year-old?
Never.
Yeah, let's move aside for the
Yeah,
first
here.
one. Oh, no, like,
Okay, so the age is getting younger. Now we're talking about 11-year-olds.
Well, you can have
right
whatever
here.
you want.
Yeah, you can have a seat if you want.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So 13-year-old. So again, when was the first time you fantasized about a 12-year-old?
Never.
Okay, so 13 is the youngest.
Right.
Okay, so why 13 but not 12?
Exactly. Let me stop it there. This is what I always say about these men who claim that I'm wrong talking about the 18 years old is wrong. Why 18 and not 17? Why 18 and not 16? When does all of a sudden you say, oh, well, you're 16, I got to go. That doesn't happen. What'll happen is this, is they'll say, oh, she's 16. Let me think about just how I could make this work possibly. Or dang, do I really want to risk it? That's the first thing they say. Do I want to risk it? They're not saying, dang, this is illegal, I need to go ahead. They're not saying, listen, a man will walk up to a girl who he knows is young and ask her how old she is. Most men, not even men on the manosphere, most men and women on this channel have admitted that men have walked up to them and say, oh, how old are you? Uppity Unicorn talks about this all the time. She says that she was developed when she was young, and she had guys that would walk up to her knowing that she was young, but still want to know her age just to see exactly what could happen. Just to kind of see and fill out, and let me just try and figure out her vibe. Maybe she don't mind talking to older dudes. Have you talked to older dudes before? Maybe she don't mind, kind of getting with the older guy. Maybe she don't mind. Maybe I got a chance. Maybe I can get away with this. Maybe she's really cool about it. She understands what the deal is that we can't know. Nobody can know about this relationship. Maybe. When does it stop? That was a great question that this man asked. When does it stop? Let's continue.
I don't know.
Okay.
And that's the truth.
Okay.
Not
But
lying to
I
you.
don't know either. I don't know when that stops. Actually, you know what? I do know when that stops. For everybody, it's different, but it doesn't stop just because 1 year and one legal statute or law says that it's wrong. That's not where it stops.
so if Sophie was 12, what would have been your response?
Probably would have went to the bathroom and threw up.
Okay, so what? Okay, so for me, like,
You don't have to believe me, bro. You can sit back and solve the
right.
So
So for me, say
But
my
you just lied a couple minutes ago. You said it was your first time, then you said it wasn't your first time, then you said it was your first time.
right.
Like,
second time.
I know, but you said earlier it was your first time. Like,
Okay. Yeah, so we'll get to that. So you said, so 13 is the fantasy. Like for me, okay, 18, I think there's hot 18-year-olds. I wouldn't do anything with a 17-year-old,
Right.
but there's hot 17-year-olds.
Right.
Okay, I got to stop there because now the dude interviewing him is suspect. Yo, I don't know what's wrong with guys. I didn't even watch this part. He said, I think there's hot 17-year-olds. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't even know. I should have watched this, dude. He says, I think there's hot 17-year-olds. I guess everybody's just keeping it really real right now. Everybody's being honest, ASC. Let me read some comments. I don't even know what to say about that. Tab says the smart Manosphere men are going to jump ship now that they see Kevin Samuels gaining popularity and notoriety. They know that his days are numbered and don't want to be caught in the smoke. Mainstream media outlets, I said this earlier, TAB, are actually picking up and starting to come down on the Manosphere. They're starting to come down on it. It's just a matter of time. And like we said earlier in the stream, TAB, yeah, the man who is Richard Cooper, over 300,000 subscribers estimated, who said he's not going to be making any more Manosphere videos, who got paid millions to make Manosphere videos, said I'm done making the videos because this is just going to hell in a hay basket, right? Hay in a hell basket. I don't know what the saying is. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're going to start jumping ship. when they see that this is going to start happening. And is it any coincidence? We said this months ago. We've known this for a while on this channel. We know that they're going to start jumping ship because everything they stand for is based in hatred, illegality, rage, disparity. It's based in animosity. It's based in nothing. There's no life in what they're saying. There's nothing that's going to help you to be better. We've already talked about that. Jedi Mike says true masculinity is taking full accountability, not blaming others, making excuses for your lack of self-respect and mentality development as a man. Great words. Judge One says self-incrimination is real. Right. This man just said 17-year-olds are hot. That's deep, man. Nickel Spickle with the looking eyes. The loving home says, wow. My golly. That is serious. Lydia J says, so true. Organic Black says, yep, same. Lila B said, the sentence itself is so disturbing. Lemon says, man, he should have just waited for the doll. LOL. He could have been laid up with them sweet plastic walls right now. He got the sex doll and it's not good enough. Listen, I've heard Manosphere channels, content creators, actually encouraging men to go buy sex dolls. There's a channel called Sandman. I don't know how many subscribers Sandman has. Let me see how many subscribers Sandman has. This dude is like a UK dude encouraging men to just buy their sex dolls because it's that much more fulfilling of a relationship. Legitimately encouraging this. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to like add satire or anything to that right now. I'm being honest. This dude tells men to just buy a sex doll, and he doesn't understand why we're publicly persecuting men who decide to buy sex dolls. He's verified on YouTube, so he's got probably 100,000 subscribers. And so this is the type of dudes we're talking about. Weird ass dudes, man. Keenan says he's talking to them because they're white men who he fears, and he knows he won't be able to walk away fast enough. I bet his knees are crying for a sofa, probably. Probably. Let's continue on.
But I don't go, yeah, when I see a 17-year-old, just like, I can't do it. Like, it's just not right. But so what about a 12-year-old makes you go, yeah, but a 13-year-old you're suddenly fantasizing about? Like,
Don't know, man. I don't want to say, bro.
I just want you to be honest, man.
I am being honest. I don't fucking.
So what
I don't
about
even know how I feel about the
13-year-old
interview
turns
right
you
now, to
on,
be
though?
honest.
Like,
Don't know, man.
do you
It's just a
do you
weird
think,
thing to say.
does at least some of it have to do with
Very weird.
being younger, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So you do have attraction to younger. That should admit it's not normal, correct? Yes or no?
It's not normal.
Okay.
Okay, so having attraction to younger women is not normal. They know this. We always talk about this. This isn't normal. This not right. There's something off with it. Okay. Lemmer says he was comparing the logic of liking 13. I guess I can't click the comment now. Okay. Was he comparing the logic of liking 13 but not 12 to liking 18 but not 17? Yeah. When really it's kind of the same thing, you know, right? And here's the thing. Even when I was 25, if I would have been walking around, if you go and introduce a girl, she was 18, you'd be like, oh, she's 18. Even at 18 and 25, 24, that's a bit odd. They'd be like, oh, aren't you? They'd say, aren't you a bit young for him? They'd say, aren't you a bit? She's a bit young, you know? Like that's what most people would typically think, right? These dudes are trying to argue for 50 and 18, and just because it's legal, this is okay. Keena says these dudes are all sick. All of them. Very weird. Jedi Mike says, I don't like how they're questioning him. It seems like they are not taking this issue as seriously as they should. Yeah, I mean, they're YouTubers, and so they're trying to make it, you know, a little bit scenic, right? They're trying to sell it up a bit. And I think they were excited to be able to get somebody as popular as EDP is. And so they probably were just kind of, you know, rushing through things. I do have the playback set a little faster as well to 1.25 for copyright reasons and things of that nature. So it might affect it a bit, but yeah, I think they were a bit excited just because they got somebody with the popularity of EDP, right? They were gonna, this was gonna be their, you know, their cash bucket, their golden bunny, their golden egg right here. Man says, OMG, there's also another MGTOW loser that was defending the sickos that want to buy toddler-sized sex dolls. How disgusting can you be? New lows. We say this all the time, but the rabbit hole truly does get deeper with the Manosphere. I will forever have content to talk about these lost human beings, because every time I look into these stories, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and there's no end to it. It's like, this is crazy. I when I started making these videos, I never thought that I would be able to have so many videos just talking about this, but the longer I research, the more stories I hear, the more I'm like, this will never end. This literally will never end. TAB says, THT, please do a show on KS telling his minions that if a stranger man demands a smile, she should give them one. Otherwise, she doesn't deserve protection. I'll definitely do that. I think it's about time we talk about Tevin Scamels, the fraud father, again. We might make another live stream on him, have his minions in the chat, invite them over to the panel if they really want the smoke, as he always says. Y'all don't want the smoke. Y'all don't want the real smoke. I showed up in his chat room. He ended the smoke show pretty quickly. And like I said before, TAB, he's seen this channel. He's talked about some of the things that we've talked about on here. He knows what the deal is. He knows what the deal is. So, but yeah, we'll talk about Tevin Scamel soon. I haven't even watched one of his live streams in a month or so. So I need to catch up and see what the vibes are now. See what the vibes are now. Love Mango says they say the Fat Boy's a fanboy, racist, and they say EDPM follows some Manosphere channel, but I think not a part of it. Yeah, and we know. I don't want to just body shame because of the body here, right? But obviously his body was attributing to him not being able to pull the amount of women that he wanted because he had financial resources. But aside from his body, it was his mind too. The dude's just twisted, right? But yeah, it's the bigger thing that these guys don't want to accept. They finally have the money, you have the resources, but you still can't get a woman because your body's not in the shape, your mind's not in the shape that a woman wants to actually be attracted to you for. But rather, instead of actually getting into shape and going to the gym and putting in the other side of the hard work that he already completed with the monetary gains, putting in the other side of the hard work, which is discipline and eating and having a regimented lifestyle that's actually ruled in legitimate health, right? Even if you didn't want to get in shape for just to get a girl, but just to be healthy, he didn't want to do that. Rather, he wants to buy sex dolls, complain, and then go to meet minors, which is what so many of these men in the Manosphere do. They don't want to actually better themselves. They don't want to better themselves. They don't want to go to work and to while learning and training for their second job. They don't want to have multiple jobs. They don't want to do this or do that. They just want to continue to relish in their failures and expect a woman to worship the ground that they walk on for the simple fact that they're a man. When life doesn't go that way, life doesn't do that. And guess what? If you choose to live life on those terms, eventually life's going to catch back up with you and you're going to get in trouble. You're going to lose. You're going to start to hate yourself. You're going to do something stupid because mentally you're not set in moral, integral, firm ground. Your foundation in logical reasoning and in adulthood and in manliness isn't set appropriately. You built a house upon sand, as the word says, but you haven't actually built it upon sound foundation. And so you could have the biggest house in the world. You could think that everything you're doing is right and this and that nature, but if your foundation for the house is off, no matter how big your house gets, EDP445, 2 million subscribers, multi-millionaire, can do nothing for the rest of his life and live a great life. No matter how big your life gets, Tevin Scamels, 2 times divorced, has nothing, no family, no children to his name. Nobody's going to watch him in the next 20 years as he continues to die alone, and help him and comfort him in his last dying days. You have nobody, Coach Greg Adams, with your multiple children, with your divorced wife who you're not on good terms with, and continue to disparage women like your child, like your baby girl. You'll have nothing to actually help you through those moments because the houses that you're building right now are set on weak foundation. You're a king with no kingdom. Powerful. Love Mango said they may strike your channel again. Tevin's cheerleaders. Yeah, they can. They can try. One of the good things is out of the situation that happened is I was actually in contact with a YouTube representative who is on my side now. This doesn't happen for smaller channels on my scale, but I was reached out to by a YouTube representative, right? Usually this only happens with channels with like millions of subscribers. And so I was in communication with them, and I have somebody in YouTube that's actually watching out for me. It's a straight up blessing. It never happens. But I think it's somebody that feels for what I'm saying. And make no mistake about it, I say this all the time, YouTube is run by women. Like it's run by a female CEO named Susan something. So you think that these women don't see these videos and are going to start to eventually try and see legally what they can do to get men like this off of the platform, or pushing other channels that start to go out against men like this? These Negroes don't even understand how real it's about to get for them in the next couple of years. It's going to get real. Their channels will start disappearing. It's only a matter of time. They'll say something eventually which doesn't end up with lining up with the YouTube policies and guidelines, and they're going to be out of there just as quickly as they showed and came. They're going to be out. It's just a matter of time. Mark my words, just as I marked my words earlier, that the Manosphere will start to self-destruct, and that is my main objective and goal, to get rid of the Manosphere. And as they've already started to do, 21 Studios is going after Donovan Sharp. Rich Cooper is saying that he's done with the Manosphere because he's tired of seeing the men like 21 Studios go after Donovan Sharp. Coach Greg Adams is saying that he doesn't understand men in the Manosphere who want to still get with women after he's already had divorce and this and that. These dudes are going back and forth like worse than children. They don't even know what they want. They're starting to fully separate at this point. The red pillars are going against the black pillars. The black pill people are the guys that think that it's only looks and money. If you don't have looks and money, then you can't get a woman. And they're upset at the red pillars because the red pillars think that it's about game and you have to have swag and you have to know how to talk to women. And so they're just going, nah, 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 nah. No, 21 Studios is a YouTube channel that is advocate for men's rights. 250,000 subscribers. They have conferences where men get together. Speakers like Richard Cooper, a man who's no longer part of the Manosphere, over 300,000 subscribers estimated, no longer is going to be participating in conferences with. They have conferences every year where they try and say that men are the better race, gender. Women are evil. Women are starting to make this entire world and our economic system collapse because women have all the power now. Women this, women that. It's a bunch of men who get together with a victim mentality and mindset and claim that they're being so persecuted and afflicted against by women. That's what 21 Studios channel is. Check him out. The leader of the channel's name is Anthony Dream Johnson. He wears a hat that says "Make Women Great Again," a moniker of the "Make America Great Again" political reference to Donald Trump, right? And the catch in that is that the women were good at one point, but now they're not. So Jedi Mike says, I don't care how good the body looks. This is for men and women. If the mind isn't right, the whole body isn't right, period. The mind is just like any muscle. Do the work. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. Lorenz said he appears to be more pro-black, slowly moving away from any kind of pedo talk, young girl talk. He knows that stuff can never be mainstream, and that's what they're trying to do. They see the ceiling that can be hit. And let me be the first to say, I've been reached out to by, and I can't even say it because we're in the works, but I've been reached out to by companies that have millions of followers. I got a message the other day from a very popular mainstream multimedia source. I can't give too much information out, who reached out to me and said, hey, we're watching you. We like your videos. We like your message, right? Already my ceiling is miles above where the Manosphere could ever be. I'm not even lying. This is no BS. People are watching the new movement that's getting ready to happen. And we're the first in it right now. But it's getting ready to get real for us in the next year. And very unreal for them. There's only so far they can go. There's only so far they can go. And that's just a fact. As much as they think that I'm lying or that I hate it, they see that as well. Even Donovan Sharp at one point admitted, he's like, this can't never go mainstream. I'll never go mainstream because of what we preach here, because society thinks that it's unacceptable. Well, it's not just that. It's just that you truly don't offer anything of value past hatred and past a certain group of men who are hateful people. There's nothing else to you, you know? Yeah, Latoya, I was tripping out when I saw it. I was like, is this a scam? I was like, this can't be real. I went to it. It's a blue check mark verified. Lo and behold, I said, wow. All right. That's awesome. Willa B says, I'm happy for you, Honest. You deserve it. Thank you so much. Granny Black says he's made his money off the Manosphere. Now he's jumping ship, LMAO, right? Yeah, he's done. He's got a McLaren in the garage and an Audi R8 in the garage, and he's done now. He's like, you know what? I'm good. I got my relationship. He even said that in the video. I got a good long-term relationship. My family's good. I think I'm done. Okay. Love Mango says, we told people bullies, Manosphere, red pill, weirdos, has feds watching. Boy, you don't believe it. Those dudes are scoping them out, man.
When do you think this started happening?
This started happening when a lot of when girls would hit me up or have me on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I would say probably maybe about 7 months ago.
Okay, 7-8 months ago. So when did you what was it that made you realize? Like, for example, it's a bad analogy, but I didn't like avocados when I was young, but now I like avocados. So what made you just go, I actually like 13-year-olds?
But maybe when all that came into play, you know what I mean? Like I mentioned before, mm-hmm. The entire loneliness and the actual, like, oh, this girl might actually be into me and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Well, right, but the thing is, if it was a 12-year-old into you, you would have brushed that to the side.
Of course.
So, like, if there's a hot 19-year-old into me, I'm like, oh, awesome. But if there's like, I shouldn't say there's such thing as a hot 12-year-old, but if there's a 12-year-old into me, a 13-year-old, I'd be disgusting. I would never. So what makes it okay to you for you to come here?
It doesn't make it okay. I'm just being honest with you. It doesn't make it okay. I was in the wrong.
Right, but
now, I don't know what they talked about for this entire hour long. I want to fast forward it a bit and see exactly what the conversation sounded like. I haven't watched it.
It's not going to be pretty if I come here and it's a sting operation. Why did you say it's not going to be pretty? What do you mean by that?
So apparently he knew it might have been a sting operation. that's how strong the drive is for these guys. They talk with the decoys and like, it's not gonna be good if it's a sting operation, but I'm gonna show up anyways.
Because that's, you know, that's a threat. That's a threat of violence.
That's a threat.
Oh, so he made a threat of violence against the girl? Hold on a second. I didn't know he was threatening.
I
her.
wanted to ask.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Is my life over?
That's up to you.
He said it's my life over.
Reacting to this situation because
My life was over before it started.
And try to go under a bunker and try to hide and forget about this, or you can take approach where you sing another question. Why were you threatening this girl? You were telling her, oh,
He was
it's
threatening
gonna
her.
be ugly.
If it's a
not
setup.
gonna be pretty if I come here and it's a sting operation. Why did you say it's not gonna be pretty? What do you mean by that? Because that's, you know, that's a threat. That's a threat of violence.
That's a threat.
That is a threat.
Obviously, it's
Okay, so apparently he threatened the girl that it's not going to be pretty if I come there. Yeah, Nicholas Pickle, the interviewer is suspect as hell. He's like, I'm not. What? You're not going to talk about that there's a hot 12-year-old? That's weird. He already said that 17-year-olds. If I see a hot 17-year-old and some 17-year-olds are hot, that's a bit weird to say, man. Yes, there are pretty 17-year-old girls. I get that. Hot isn't the word I would use for a 17-year-old girl. That's a bit weird. Interviewer is definitely suspect. Taylor Beauty says she just got here. SMH. Don't worry, Taylor. We're gonna be here for a little bit. Don't worry. Always good to see Taylor Beauty in the building. So this dude apparently threatened this young girl and said it's not going to be pretty. Now, here's the thing. I didn't know if it was actual threat or if he meant like, well, it's not going to be pretty for me because I'm going to be in trouble, right? But he admit that this is an actual threat, that he threatened the girl, said it's not going to be pretty if I get there and it's a sting. This is crazy. Up the Unicorn says he said to the decoy, 13-year-old is not going to be pretty if this is a setup, basically a threat. Yeah. Lauren says, if you had any doubts a sting operation, why would you go? I don't know. I don't know.
You said it's not going to be pretty if I show up there and there's a police sting operation.
right.
So why are you trying to scare a 13-year-old girl?
Because I need help.
But why? Like,
Because
I don't
they
get
need
that.
help.
Why are you trying to intimidate her out of everybody's life?
Why? Recording your phone, because
Like,
what
why?
happened? He was doing a little flashlight.
So he said because he needs help.
So you're just gonna scare the living
for
daylight
flashing.
out of her?
Just now.
No.
Let's continue a bit. I have nothing to say to that.
Cupcake and a 13-year-old. Should we just call you the horny hippo or what?
Yeah, you guys can call me whatever the f-
You deserve it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, cool. And you blocked her how many times? Lots of times.
Probably like 6-7 times.
You blocked, but like you came back every single
what
time,
made you
right?
block? What made
Why did you block and unblock? And we've seen this before, and we know why you do it. We just want to know if you're gonna tell us the truth.
Well, to engage with him.
Is it because you want to clear the chats?
No,
No.
no.
So apparently they block and unblock people to clear the chat so the chat can exist. I didn't know that at all. That's deep. So when they're messaging, and to all the parents out there who are watching this, keep an eye out for your kids on social media, because a lot of the time the kids are kids. Kids don't understand what's going on, right? But a lot of the time, what might happen is you don't even see the conversations, because if the kid didn't delete the conversation, but the predators will know to block and unblock somebody because that erases the entire chat log. That's crazy. Magnificent One says, I just want to know, what is the race of this girl or girls? I'm not sure, Magnificent One. I don't know if it ever gave us the race of the girls. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure if we'd be able to find that information. I type it in, yeah. Let's see. I mean, since it was a fake girl, I'm not sure if it's going to be in the actual news articles. White. Okay, up at the unicorn says white. Okay, cool. I can't see. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So white apparently. White or Hispanic. Okay. Gameback says white, of course. Well, I don't. Hey, listen. I know a lot of time on this channel we talk about race and things of that nature. Listen, I'm all for divesting, all for people dating any kind of race, as long as they're a good person. I want to destroy them on that, but we do see that a lot of black men choose solely to date white girls because they see it as an elevation, right? they see it as a way to give themselves social status. Right? Oh, I'm with the white girl. I want the white girl, you know. And hey, listen, if you like white girls, great. You like white girls, that's awesome. I'm not trying to say that it's wrong for you to like white girls. White girls are people too, right? That's cool. It's an ignorant thing for you to say that you only have a preference for any race of people. You know, it's more important about the people than the person, right? We know that. I'm going to put my links here really quickly. If you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free. We're going to continue watching EDP and see just how deep the rabbit hole goes, as Neo from the Matrix said.
So what's the point of blocking and then unblocking?
The point of blocking and then unblocking is to talk to somebody, you know what I mean, and have a potential need.
Okay, so
What do you mean? Wait,
if nobody found out about this, you did say you were in love with Sophie. You did say,
Now,
I love
this
you,
is the
right? Yes or no?
question here.
Right, I did.
So you're in love with her, yes or no? A little bit, just a little bit.
I mean, you said it.
So
So he said he was in love with her. But here's the question. If nobody knew, just like I said earlier, if you knew unshadowably, if that's even a word, without a doubt, that nobody would catch you, would you still do it? 95% of the men in the Manosphere would have no problem.
so say to me, I was in love with a 13-year-old. It's true.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he already said it in the
But
chat,
you
so
were
it
though,
doesn't
right? Yes
matter.
or no? Okay, so you just said it. Okay, so I think you're adorable, sweet, and you said you'd love to teach her about SECKS, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you want to teach a 13-year-old about you know what?
I think it's spelled SEX, not SEC.
All right. We'll kind of stop it around there. I've rented for a while. I know I'm supposed to open up the panel a little bit earlier. Let me open up the panel. If you would like to join the show, you're more than willing to join the show. Talk about any experiences as a woman that you might have had with a pedophilic type man, an ephobophilic type man, a creepy man, or just a man that just this story reminded you of in general. All right. You're more than welcome to join the show. I would encourage you to. You do not have to show yourself on camera. If you decide to, then by all means. Open up the panel for any of our guests. Once again, if you're a winner of the candle giveaway, make sure you message at Unique Boutique Candles on Instagram. Let me put that Instagram link one more time. You have 24 hours starting from tonight. If you do not message her back or message Loren or follow up with Loren, then you will forfeit your winning. So I'm just letting you know. Here's the Instagram. Also, if we do not have a winner that claims the prize, which you're going to really miss out if you do, we'll redraw on the next live stream. And I'll be back, y'all. We're going to be doing our live streams a lot more consistently. Got a lot of material I'm working on right now, and you're not going to want to miss out on that. Okay? You're not going to want to miss out. Love niggas with different people, new folks. Yeah, you know, we're kind of small right now, but hopefully we can get a couple people up here in a little bit. But it's always good to have our usuals, to be honest with you. Always good to have our usuals. Alexander Brandon, we'll let you go after Toya. Toya, welcome to the stream. It's so good to see you here.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, Toya, how are you?
I'm fine. And you? Hey, Alexander. That's actually my father-in-law's name. But hey.
Oh, hey.
I've had experiences when I was 10 years old, and I used to visit my father down in Virginia, and I finally told him when I became an adult. And that's not the first time that this had happened to me. Even when I was staying with my mom, I was 13 years old when a grown man approached me on the bus and asked me how old I was because I was so developed at 13.
Wow. Yeah, that's insane. And you can obviously look at a 13-year-old and know that she's 13. So for any guy to even walk up and ask that question, that's sad. That's absolutely terrifying. As a 13-year-old girl, I mean, I wouldn't even know what you would think at that time, but I mean, I don't know, you know, that's intense, man. That's really intense. And I'm sorry that happened to you. But this is the reality that we face. This is the reality of most of the men in the sphere that we talk about. And let's not even kid ourselves here. This is deeper than Manosphere. The Manosphere is just trying to normalize you talking to an 18 or 17 or 16-year-old, depending on the state, because it's legal, girl. They normalize this, but this is how a lot of men feel as well. It's just that now they can find a community of men who think like-minded in the perversions to fight against the societal norms that we have that go against saying that go with saying that it's wrong to do this. And now that they've found that community, they're going to try and justify themselves any way possible. All right. And so it's sad that that happened to you, Toya.
It shouldn't happen at all. I'm a mother of 4 boys, and they're not just looking at girls; they're looking at boys too. And I'm willing to put something that'll hold them on them too if they tried it with any child. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we should. And this is why we fight so hard against men like this. Mike Anderson says, LMAO, anyone that exits a school bus is clearly not old enough. Right.
Exactly.
There's a meme that says, listen, if she doesn't know this cartoon, bro, she's not old enough. Right. There's a meme that says that. And she doesn't know this game. She doesn't know this, whatever it might be. She's not old enough. And we joke about that, but it's the honest truth. And this is why we always talk about the generational gaps in mental development between youngins. Is that there's nothing for you to connect with an 18-year-old. There's nothing in relation that you could ever look for long term with, because you're on such different dynamic levels of life, right? It's just wild. Toya, I appreciate your story. I'm gonna put you on mute. We'll come back to you here in a little bit. Welcome Loren and Jedi Mike to the panel. Alexander, I'm gonna let you go really quickly. Try and keep it quick, Alexander, because we have some people that want to join the panel, and I want to make sure that we can kind of keep the show in a faster format. Okay, but Alexander, thank you so much. Good to see you again, boss man. What did you have to add?
Yes. I agree with everything that she said, and what I want to say is that, okay, have you seen the video about Ashanti that O'Shea Jackson did?
No.
They went after her looks and everything else, and the woman is 40 and she's taking care of herself, but he said that she hit the wall and everything else.
Yeah, it's crazy, this whole wall talk. And you know what's crazy, Alexander? Thank you so much for that comment. I want to say this. Uppity Unicorn recently did a live stream. I think this was the one yesterday as well. Let me put her link in the channel. And she was showing women who are like stunning for their age, right? And let's be honest here. If you take care of your body, you can look drop dead incredible in your 40s and 50s. Like, people would have no problem spending the night with you, right? Let me hold on. I cannot type and think. I froze to view Uppity Unicorn's channel. All right, link right there. And she was showing pictures of women who were just like drop dead gorgeous. I think the one that really stuck out to me was oh gosh, what's her name? Oh gosh, I can't think of her name. She's Angela Bassett. I think Angela Bassett's like 63, and Angela Bassett is like bad. Like, look, I will be honest. Y'all know I'm a man. All right. Listen. All right. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Just hear me out. Let me share the screen really quickly. Angela Bassett's 63 years old. You get a chance to be in Angela Bassett's presence. There's no doubt in my mind. Okay. No doubt in my mind. Okay. So all this hitting the wall nonsense is just ways for men to relish in their insecurities and trying to put how they feel and their insecurities on women. Angela Bassett has no problem getting a man. A lot of women in their 50s, even if they don't look like Angela Bassett, have no problem getting a man. I said this before, and I'll say this again on the podcast. Most women, when I say most, I mean 90 to 95% of women can walk down any given street in America at just about any age and find a man that's willing to consummate physical relations with them that night. This is just a fact. All right. This is just a fact. Dudes are down bad out here, and they're upset that women have an easier life than them in a lot of regards and can do things that they can't do. They want to be women themselves. We'll move on in this conversation. Shout out to Angela Bassett. If you're watching, Angela, at some point or another, please don't hesitate. I think Loren will just go in the essence of ladies first. Jedi Mike, I appreciate you being here. And then we'll have the Loving Homes go, and Jedi Mike will have you follow up with them. Loren, it's so good to see you back on here. I hope everything has been well.
Yeah, everything's been good. You'll have to remind me who won, because I don't remember, but I'll watch it back. But
sure.
But yeah, so I was on Uppity stream yesterday. We were kind of talking about this, and it's just like the the pedophilic nature and the attraction towards children, which is like something that they don't want to call it. It's like this thing where they don't want to call it what it is. It's like if they can kind of make excuses or get around it somehow and not just say that, yes, I have a serious like mental issue, because I don't know how this guy EDP is standing here defending the fact that he came here to meet a 13-year-old. Like, bro, you look crazy out here. You you look crazy. So I mean, I don't know. I want to hear what everybody else has to say, but like
yeah,
I've never even heard of that YouTuber before. I've never heard of him before, but like, because I just can't keep going any deeper with this Manosphere stuff. It's just like it never ends, and it's always a twist and a turn, and it's always some super nasty pedophilic dude that's got these strong, you know, he's jumping up and down excited for a doll. Like, what is wrong with you? He's like excited for a doll to come so that he can wear that hoe out. he's gonna bend the doll over the couch, y'all. Oh my God, I can't.
Loren,
he's gonna go down on the doll.
2 million subscribers. 2 million. So yeah, I feel you. I've heard of him a little bit, and I've seen his channel a bit. I saw a couple of videos, and you know, hey, dude's a funny guy when he's off his rocker and saying things that are socially legal, right? But at the same time, I didn't know about his involvement in the Manosphere, and then we hear a story like this, it's like, oh, okay, well, it makes a little bit more sense why he's acting off of his rocker, because he truly is off of his rocker. So, Lorraine with a great comment there. The Loving Holmes, welcome to the panel, Loving Holmes. So good to see you back here. The floor is yours.
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to say this right quick. I don't want to be on too long because I'll let somebody else come up. But I wanted to say it's very disgusting, and I feel bad for my little cousins that, you know, are so young that these older men want to, you know, they want to have intercourse, especially with a kindergartners or just 6 or 7. I'm like, what can a 50-year-old have in common with a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old? And I said, thank God I don't have kids. I feel so worried for this generation. And then it's just making me more and more at peace of not bringing children in this world, because it's very disgusting of what this world is coming to. It's just, I just don't even have the words no more. And I'm just like, you know, of course, growing up, I always dreamed about having a family, but I'm like, the state of this world, I don't think my unborn kids need to be coming in a disgusted world like this. It's just very sad.
Absolutely. Loving Holmes, great commentary there. I've thought the same thing, you know, and I've talked about this with a couple of people I would consider elders, or, you know, not counselors, but mentors of mine. And they said, well, you know, I think the best way to think about it is that, well, you know, if it's so off balance, then they're going to need the positivity. They're going to need the morality added to them in your generation and your lineage. And I said, yeah, you know, that's a good response. You know, it's a good response. But at the same time, I still kind of feel and understand your sentiment. It's worrisome, you know. It's very disturbing to really sit back and think about it. Like, man, the pain, the emotions, the turmoils, the troubles that our children are going to have to face is going to be more than it was for us. It's only going to get worse. So I agree with you,
Yeah,
Loving
and
Holmes.
it's so sad. And like what Alexander was saying about Ashanti, people can talk all what they want to talk about Ashanti. As long as you take care of yourself as a woman, you still could be bad in the game. I don't give a crap what a man says. Oh, a woman hits the wall at 25 and I'm 27 and I still people think I'm like 12 years old. So I'm like, baby, nobody hits the wall. I take very good care of myself. So whatever these men want to believe, that's on them. They could believe they delusion, okay?
Absolutely. So well said, Loving Holmes. Thank you. You can stay on the panel as long as you want. I have elevated once again my dustiness to sub-dustiness. Soon to get an edge up and a fade, and then we'll be at I don't know what's above sub-dustiness. I have paid for StreamYards for a month, right? So I paid $25. We can have as many people on the broadcast, I think up to like 15 or 20. And so we are dusting the dust off of us, ladies and gentlemen, slowly but surely, thanks to your contributions and donations and the channel members who have monetarily invested into the channel by buying a membership. So thank you so much for that, y'all. You can stay on the panel as long as you want now. There's no rotating people and trying to scramble. So yeah, there's no obligation, though. You get busy, by all means, you can leave without saying bye. It's okay. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. I appreciate anybody that's on the panel. Jedi Mike, how did you feel about this, Jedi Mike? I mean, where do we stand? Where do we stand? I know. Jedi Mike, that was perfectly said. I just want to say that. Okay.
First of all, hello everyone, the panel and everything, everyone in the chat. Nice to see y'all again. Um, uh, I am mentally exhausted. I guess because I see like this consistency going on and on. Whether it's like with the Derek Jackson or with this situation with EDPI, like um, this is giving us, this is ruining our image. If our image wasn't already downgraded to begin with, this is just putting icing on the cake and the cherry on top. It's just because one, I told you that I didn't like the way they basically conducted the interview. I felt like they were kind of joking and trying to get clout from this, and they probably were, obviously, because there's just a channel for entertainment. But the thing for me is like, why are you asking these questions? Like, why are you doing this? Because one, for example, of him having a YouTube channel or not, it's not going to change anything. It's like, one, anything he should be going to law enforcement and seeing what's going next in terms of getting him off of it. Because listen, you cancel the channel doesn't stop anything. Some people don't watch YouTube, and some people haven't even heard of him till now, until the situation. So I'm just saying that looking at this is not no actually solution of what they were doing in terms of actually stopping this. But what I'm saying is that we have to do better in terms of protecting our children. I'm saying this is like, especially to young black boys, because also, even though this is not really as widely popular in terms of being known, but yeah, black boys are also in danger of pedophilia and molestation as well, and then have this consistent pattern of actually being potential predators going out as they increase in age. But the thing is that we have to teach our young boys that we're in shark infested waters, knowing that, listen, that everyone can be preying on our innocence, especially our daughters. And that's why I'm saying, like, listen, if you refuse to go through these life experiences, you won't be very knowledgeable of it in terms of actually having the warning signs, protecting, enforcing boundaries on your children, letting know, hey, listen, I don't care how friendly he is, I don't care who he is, you're not texting this. If this happened in my house, it won't. I'll know everything when my daughter be texting or whatever going on. Like, it's not gonna be happening. It won't be happening in my house. But I'm just saying, really, my stomach's just turned. It's just,
Absolutely. No, it's stomach curdling, it's stomach twirling, stomach tumbling, right? It's all that stomach roller coaster type emotion. And when you sit and think about that, a man like this is a follower of the Manosphere, right? And I mean, and this is why I go so hard on it, and why we made that video, is because I see this happening, and this is going to happen many more times in the future, right? The fact of the matter is that 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20 in some cases, and below age, whatever it might be, below the ages we just said, girls aren't developed mentally enough. Even men don't start developing mentally until they're 25. So why is it that we can agree that science tells us that someone's not developed mentally until a certain age, that just because that's above the legal age, that somehow it's socially and morally acceptable? It's not, and we know that it's not. Now, they try and argue the fact that it's okay because it's 18 years old, but the reason they made it 18 was because they never expected 50-year-old men to go after 18-year-old girls in this case. But they tried to give it before the Romeo and Juliet clause, which I looked all of this up after these pedophilic streams.
Yeah, Michael Bay do it too. He put in the Transformers movies.
Oh yeah. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
It was the fourth one about that. Was Mark Wahlberg's daughter was dating a dude who wasn't even in college, was like in his 20s. She's 17, and then they had literally stopped the whole plot of the movie. And the son, or the guy who's dating the daughter, is telling Mark Wahlberg about why it's okay to have sex with girls in high school with that Romeo and Juliet clause. You can go look this up. You can't make this mess up.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. So that's deep right there. I didn't even know that. So this is their reasoning behind it. They were like, okay, you know what? 16 in some states, 17 in some states. I think federal law, this is what I've been able to gather, right? So federal law says that they're below 18. Federal law technically says it's illegal. I don't really know. I'm not sure how exactly it works, but they introduced the Romeo and Juliet clause because essentially what was going to happen is you'll have an 18-year-old boy get with a 16-year-old girl, or I guess a 15-year-old girl in some cases, and they're like, well, technically they're so close in age that it's okay, so we're going to create the Romeo and Juliet clause. But for the sake of what the absolute cutoff is, we have to say 18, yeah, and we just have to give it 18, right? And I'm sure they probably got some backlash just for doing that, but that's kind of where it stands and everything like that. Having said that, that's still obviously not right morally. We'll cringe if we see an 18-year-old girl with a 35-year-old guy. That's just cringe, right? So having said that, we'll read about, and for all of you telling me about the O'Shea thing, I'll check it out for sure. I didn't know about O'Shea and what's going on in Africa and things like that. I'll check it out. I mean, hey, we all have our issues, right? I mean, as long as O'Shea's not in trouble in Africa for like molesting children, then hey, we all have our issues. Nobody's perfect. And so I don't want to be the complete judge of moral character, because I'm human too, right? I make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and so I'll look into it. I'll check it out, but I appreciate y'all bringing that to my attention. Willoughby says the law needs to be revisited since so many people are taking advantage of it. I think that's very true. When they made that law at 18, they never expected 50 and 60-year-old men to go all the way back to the bare minimum, right? That's what the point I was trying to make. Kind of got off a little bit, but they never expected them to go all the way down to the to the minimum standard. They're like, oh well, I guess they're gonna go ahead and take it for what it's worth. Take it quite literally. 18 is okay. The floodgates are open, right? What are you gonna do? Mess says I'm 36 and there's no wall in sight. I have to agree with you there, May. I have to agree with you there. We say if you take care of your body, you'll do good in life. That's just the way it is. I'm trying to find Mike Anderson's. Okay. EDP and Derek Jackson proved you shouldn't look up social media influencers or any false idols for that matter. Yeah, that's good, Mike. For us, and we understand that now as adults, we can see another adult as another adult. We can rationalize that rationally, right? But kids just don't have that ability, particularly teenagers and kids who grew up in the digital age. The kids who are 18 and 19 now have grown up with cell phones their entire life. So they see celebrity as something completely different than what we see celebrity as. These are their idols. If you ask most kids nowadays, actually, what they want to be, most kids tell you that they want to be YouTubers. I think they did an actual poll on this. They asked, I don't know, a certain amount of kids, and like 70% of them said they want to be YouTubers when they grow up. And so they're fully entrenched in the Manosphere right now. They're fully entrenched in EDP. They're fully entrenched in all of this. This is their world. And so we might not hear about it as much, but the kids knew about this the second it happened. The kids know about everything far before we do, so they're watching. They're impressionable minds, and they're watching. Let's read a couple more comments. Taylor B says, Jedi, did you take exams yet, and how did you do? Jedi, did you take the exam yet? I think it was a couple weeks out, right?
Oh no, this is my last week. I'm literally doing, I'm writing my essay right now. I'm going back and forth. I'm finished. This is actually giving me a mental rest right now. At least just being part of, talking with you guys and stuff. Kind of a mental break. But yeah, I'll literally be done by Friday with everything. But I already got some done. Everything going good. Ace and everything. So it's all right.
Nice. Well, we're gonna watch a little bit more of this. I really am kind of intrigued by this entire video. And you know what? Before we continue with the YouTube EDP video, I'm not gonna replay that. I think that was grungy enough. We'll leave that video alone for a while. Let's continue watching this a bit, and we'll analyze. If you have something to say, you can just butt in. Let me know. I'll be listening for you, and I'll pause every so often. I just want to kind of. I didn't watch this yet, so I want to kind of.
He was the dad, or I was the dad, or he was the dad, or someone else was the dad. Every time a car drove by, you kept saying, "Lower your voice. Be quiet for a second." Do you want to know why you keep saying that? Because you don't want people overhearing.
All right, I gotta stop here. I can't even really watch it. So here's the deal, and this is something we've always said on this channel. I've said on this channel a lot, right? If you're a father and you're listening to somebody like Coach Greg Adams or Tevin Samuels and somebody that's telling men that it's okay to go after 18-year-old girls, I don't understand how you could sit well and how that could sit well with you as a father of a 15 or a 13 or just a father of a daughter in general, right? To hear another man saying that your baby girl is fair game for the simple fact that the law says that it's okay and for her to be fair game at. Right. This is another thing that blows me away and lets me know that the men who are in the Manosphere who are actually fathers are so twisted. They're twisted on another level. They're demented to a level to where we can't even begin to understand. Because if you as a father can look at the baby girl that you and that woman brought into this world, and then to say, you know what, because she's 18, she's fair game for a man like Coach Greg Adams now, for you to give her sacrificially to the game, because that's essentially what you're doing when you decide to actually monetarily invest in Tevin Scamios, when you decide to monetarily invest into Coach Greg Adams or Donovan Sharp. You're literally saying, I support what you're saying and I dedicate my baby girl to this game because what you're saying is true, regardless of the fact of where she is mentally, regardless of the fact of where she is in life. That's literally what they're saying when they give their daughters to men, or when they give their money to men like this. I support that message, and my daughter's the same. She's for you when she's 18, and in some cases 17 or 16, right? In some states, the consent for relations is 17 and 16. So they're donating to these types of causes. I'll never understand how they can get behind this message. How can you follow the manosphere if you're a father? I don't get that. You have men that are in the comments saying that they only want to date women your daughter's age. They don't want to get married to them. They don't want to they don't want anything positive other than your 18, your 17, and your 16-year-old daughter's bodies. How can you stand for that? I don't understand. I can't ever have respect for anybody that says they're a part of the manosphere, because they don't even respect their own daughter. If you don't respect your daughter's life and value her blood, I know you're not going to value me. A stranger to you, I know you're not going to value me. And so a lot of these men, I know it's exhausting, and we have men that come onto this panel and argue and this and that. And this and that. When we have men on the panel, I'm not even trying to get to change their minds, because I know that they're so sick and twisted that if their own daughters can't change their minds, there's nothing that Jonathan can say. There's nothing that Loren can say, or Jedi Mike, or Lola, or Organic Black, or anybody that's on this channel. There's nothing that anybody can say to them, because they're so lost. They're so in the sunken place that even their own daughters are being sacrificed for the sake of the cause that is known as a manosphere. Think about that. That's just wild to me. Oh, go ahead.
I have something to say. They have a special place in hell for motherfuckers like that. I'm gonna just say that.
Absolutely.
Off the rip. There's a special place in hell for motherfuckers like that, and I hope that they eat their damn words the moment that they go into a daggone nursing home and die alone. I have no respect for them like that. I don't.
Absolutely.
Talk to
1000%.
And I'm a daddy's girl. I had my father and my stepfather, and I wish they would treated me like that. I would have no wrath or maybe disrespect. I'll treat them like these dudes in the street. Plain and simple. We ain't gonna do that.
Absolutely.
They
Go ahead, Lauren.
I was gonna say, like, I used to watch those Chris Hansen videos like a lot, and they used to always ask the people that are the men that are caught, like, how would you feel if this was your daughter? You know, they always try to reason with them like that. But really, none of them ever had a good answer. None of them ever thought that far ahead, because for whatever reason, they don't compartmentalize like that. That's why I'm saying, like, this is kind of like a whole nother problem. It's like, I don't even like to appeal to their human decency, because their human decency isn't what is the problem. It's like just complete moral depravity. It's like a sickness, and it's just like an attraction that they have, and that's why they don't have a good explanation for it. And even that they can have daughters, they can have sons, and to them, they just can't reason that I wouldn't want someone to do this to my child. They don't even see it that way. So, but what's weird is that people in the manosphere who are not necessarily going after young girls themselves, because I don't think like Donovan Sharp has I don't think his girl's older than him, and he tried to say she's younger, but people found out that she's actually a couple years older than what he was saying. But he don't. Right. But I don't really get the feeling that he goes after young girls. But he still defends it as like a right that men should have. And I even saw like a woman who went to prison for, the teachers are messing with their students, whatever. And she just said that she doesn't agree with society's views on the matter. She feels like children are people too, and they should be able to choose their own course of action. But I'm just like, but they don't have the choosing ability yet. That's the whole point of making laws, to protect them, because they are more vulnerable than you who have lived longer. They don't have the ability to make sound decisions yet. So I don't know what this Romeo and Juliet law, I don't know why they like rely on that so heavily, because it's not meant for 50-year-old men to hook up with 18-year-old women or young women. That wasn't the point of the law. You're like you're taking advantage of some kind of like loophole or whatever, but that was never meant to be the point of that law. That was meant to say that an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old or people that were still close in age can get married if they want to. Because even the Bible states that. It says that if you're past the bloom of youth, then let them marry. If both people are past the bloom of youth, then let them marry. That means that if they're not like, if they've hit puberty and if they're of age, legally, if they're of age, and they're two people of the same age that want to marry, then let them marry. It does not say let a 50-year-old man or a 55-year-old man marry a very young girl if he wants to. That's not what that means.
Absolutely. So true. So true, Loren. Great statement there. We're going to get back to the video in 1 second. I don't want to block anybody with a comment here, but I'm going to read a couple comments. Chan Moon says, the man who lost his 7-year-old daughter in Chicago went on to live to state that he wouldn't die for his daughter, but he would die for his gang boys when asked about not protecting her. Priorities are off. And yeah, that kind of follows up with what we were saying here. I heard a man on the panel today tell me that he owes his daughters nothing and that if they haven't learned everything that he's been teaching them for the past 18 years, then they're on their own. A man told me this today on a live panel. Blown away. Absolutely blown away. Mike Anderson says EDP could have been a multiple millionaire, but that dumbass risked it all. Blown away. Absolutely blown away. Go ahead.
And I'm sorry. I'm just.
Oh, you're fine, brother. You're good,
yeah.
bro.
But like one thing, well said what Lorraine is saying, but I can tell the simple reason why he's saying the older guys try to go for younger women because they want to get someone who's mentally on their level. Meaning it's like, well, I want to have a childlike mindset. Most of these people, just as men as well, in your early ages, late teens, early 20s, you have a childlike mindset. That's most of us. We're not grown. We're grownish. But that's why they say having this predatorial nature, because like, well, that's why R. Kelly got getting younger girls. That's why other people getting young girls, because they feel like, well, I can try to control you because I have been up there in age. So meaning that if you're not seasoned like I am, then you present me a challenge. But if you're seeing her as a challenge, like if my woman thing is challenging me, that's not really her being disrespectful. That's her loving me. Because at least you like, if you don't care what I think, you don't care what I put into you or invest in you, then you shouldn't be with me. Same thing for like if I'm with my wife, like I want to challenge her because I care how she feels, I care how she thinks. So thinking about, well, if I have a child, I don't have to care what they think. I mean, because I'm the person up in age, therefore I have all the power, the money, the resources, and everything like that. And secondly, one thing they also do is try to go back to the old days about how marriage used to be about you're marrying a daughter from the family for resources and stuff like that. And they try to say we need to go back to those days. But difference is what happened that's got modernized is that the fact that the resources that the women got to get for those men to get married came from their family. But now it's actually those resources coming from the women themselves. So they're thinking, oh, well, I can't marry her because therefore she's has resources that I already have. Therefore, I think that's a challenge instead of actually taking the resources that she also provide so we can build together and actually have a stable family, have a stable lifestyle, all that stuff, and hence promoting children and not being into this whole controlling nature that's actually been downgrading this manosphere type of mentality. Is all about a spirit of control. And I'm saying with that is that's what automatically is demonic. I mean, that's what's going on. And you look at EDP's face, it's like, really, I'm not really quite questioning about canceling him. I'm sorry, you need to lock him up. And listen, he talking about question about him being lonely. When you get up in there, you won't be lonely. He'll be singing the Toy Story song. You'll have a friend in me.
Absolutely. Absolutely, John Mike. So true. Enid Dean Coleman says, yet they call it out when women do it to young boys, make it make sense. I've heard literally Coach Greg Adams talk about specifically this subject. He says, how come society doesn't talk about when the teachers end up sleeping with the boys and this and that? And how come this and how come that? Meanwhile, failing to even acknowledge that this doesn't happen that often, for being completely honest, right? I would just go out on a limb here to say that it probably happens with overage males going for underage girls more than it happens for underage guys getting with overage women. Just gonna be honest, all right? But that's the leg that they want to stand on. How come we're not talking about the teachers that sleep with the students? Most of the time when the teachers sleep with the students, it's on the news. You hear about it because it's such an enigma. It's so rare that when it does happen, they're like, oh, well, we got a news story here, right? We got a news story here. We're good there. Yeah, it's a bad thing, Coach Greg. I get it. All right. If you want to die on that hill, then by all means. Okay. But most of the time we hear about stories like that, right? We hear about it. There are plenty of young kids in hoods. There are plenty of young girls in hoods who have been touched, and you'll never hear their stories. A lot of these women have been on the channel before. They have nobody to tell these stories to because that community structure isn't in that part of the community. Go ahead, Alexander.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I've been reading on the legends of Japan, and like the hunting spirits in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is like, you ever heard of the slit mouth woman? You ever heard of it?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's a terrible backstory. Some of them said that the samurai got jealous of his wife getting attention, so he decided to slit her mouth, literally. And then it's another story about a woman was jealous because the samurai's wife was getting all the attention, and she decided to slit her throat. I mean, not her throat, but her mouth. And they say that you should not be walking alone in Japan by yourself at night because she appears at night or by day.
That's interesting, Alexander. I've never heard that. I'll definitely check that out, though, Alexander. I appreciate you pointing that out to me. That's interesting. And I think, Alexander, to your point, to kind of bring that up or bring around to what we were saying. I hear you, Lauren. I think that it points out the fact that women are victims a lot of the time in societies, right? Women really do have to watch their P's and Q's. And that reminds me of the story about the black woman who walked into the bodega, the New York bodega, right? I guess some black boys were trying to hit on her, trying to buy her something, and she said she didn't need their help, and they ended up hurting her pretty badly physically, right? One of them, she said, tried to bite out her eyes and things of that nature. So, Alexander, you do have a point with what you're saying, and the fact that women do have to stay on the defense a lot, and particularly in cases like this, when you have girls that are going out into dangerous communities on a day-to-day basis. Aside from the fact of them dealing with sensual predators like EDP445 or men like Coach Greg Adams and Tevin Scaniels telling other men that it's okay to start perusing with relationships or try and get with relationships with women who are approaching 18 and essentially redshirting them. I've heard this before. I've heard Donovan Sharp actually say this as well, Loren, is that I think what was the case when Tyga was with Kylie Jenner. Donovan Sharp was like, man, Tyga was on point. He redshirted Kylie Jenner early. He knew what was going on because Kylie Jenner was 16 or 17 at the time she was with Tyga. Y'all remember that? So I've heard them joke about this, and the term is redshirting when you're getting with a girl who's 16 or 17 until she's 18 and just kind of keeping her on the side. And so this is even Donovan Sharp, and this is like a joke in the Manosphere. They've said that before. So I want to kind of say that in response to you. Kina says they bring up teachers sleeping with students as a response to people calling out their predatory behaviors. They don't really care about those situations. Absolutely not. They most definitely don't care.
And listen, this starts at a young age. Like I have a rule, even though I'm 22, I do not date anybody who's at least 2 years younger than me, like the minimum. So if I'm 22, now the youngest person I'll date would be 20. If I get 23, it'd be 21, and then henceforth. And just because this age right now, unfortunately, like today, 16, 17-year-olds today are not 16, 17-year-olds who were like 10, 20 years ago, where you can clearly distinct, oh yeah, that's a minor. Today, because of everything going on, I'm not going to say that, give them that excuse to why guys are going after younger girls. I mean, you can still tell if someone's like younger or not, but at the same time, just from a look of someone's on social media, it can't get confusing. But I'm saying in order to prevent those situations, you have to establish boundaries. And I'm like, after self-discipline, also the urges of whatever you might be having or whatever. I'm not saying that EDP not need rehabilitation. He definitely does. So it doesn't happen because you send him to jail, serve his time, whatever, come back. If it's not dealt with, and it's like if the mind isn't right, the whole body isn't right. And like I said, I don't care how big he is or whatever. Just the mind is like the muscle. You have to train it, nurture it, and everything like that. You have to feed actual wisdom and fruit into it, to actually not be anything toxic, hence the manosphere, or in this type of woman hating thing, or all the stuff that basically this ideology that's actually becoming toxic, not actually breeding any fruit. If you do that, then I believe we don't have that issue that most people are putting themselves into. But the people like the Donovan and the Greg Adams of, you basically are asking for it. And hence I'm just saying, listen, when it comes, it'll come. You know, Judgment Day is coming.
Absolutely. So true.
Yeah.
So true, Jedi Mike. Go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say that, Jedi, that's a good point, because I do feel like today sometimes kids develop, I don't know if it's something in the food or the water, but kids are not kids the way they were when I was a kid. Like, kids today can look older. You can be 12 years old already wearing like a large C cup or even a D cup, and you could be only 12 or 13. But it's like, I used to work in a high school. When I was your age, I was like an assistant teacher in a high school, and I was like 22. And even though I wasn't that far in age from the students, they could tell that I wasn't that much older than them. And the men, the guys, the boys there that I was teaching would be like, you know, because boys, like I said, they want to hump everything. They want to hump everything or anything. And so they'll say inappropriate comments and stuff like that. But it's just, for me, as I say, it's a mentality. Like, just me knowing that they're in high school and that they're students that I'm teaching, it's just something about that I'm just like, no, I could never, ever do that. It totally takes out any type of sexual attraction, because I see you as like a child that I am teaching, and there's just no way that I could ever like see that as an option. It's just not for me. It's like a mental block at this point. But also, yes, if you feel like you can't be in those kind of, some men say I could never work in a high school because I'd be in jail. If you know that you have that kind of, you know, attraction, and it would be hard for you to resist, then don't put yourself in those kind of irresistible situations to where you know you're going to end up in jail, and you know that you're going to end up in trouble. And the other thing with this EDP guy who always, you know, he'd rather have a doll than you. People like that need to be married. I feel like that's the answer. People like that need to learn how to be faithful to one woman and have some freaking structure and discipline in your life. Because that's how you end up in situations like this, where you have no responsibility, you have nobody to answer to, you have nothing to hold you accountable to anything. So you're just free to like run and make all these horrible, horrible decisions because you have nobody to answer to and no one to help hold you accountable. Especially when you are like kind of like sick like he is. If he had some like freaking structure or something, some kind of like responsibilities that he had to focus on in his life, you know, you could be putting all your focus on that instead of chasing freaking 13-year-olds like this.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
ma'am. Well said.
I think the big thing is yeah, you're right, Lorraine. And here's the deal: is like when men go without, like the men like EDP, and they get so built up and charged up over time, and then they find the manosphere, it only further exasperates or exacerbates, if that's the right word, whatever the right word is, that feeling, right? And so now they're pent up even more, because just like we saw in the video earlier, and we're going to play this video one more time. I didn't want to, but we're going to play this from the start again, just because it proves what Loren's point is, right? And for everybody that's kind of joining, I see we have some new faces joining. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you in here. It further pushes out that desperation, because now they're saying, oh, well, it's just the women's fault. It's not even my fault anymore. Whereas before we had a society where we would call guys losers if they were really losers. It was morally okay to call somebody a loser if you're a loser. Like, bro, you're a loser. Get your life together. And society saw it moral, just like society saw it moral to punch a bully in the face. You punch a bully in the face today, now you might have to deal with some problems, right? But at the same time, society did lend themselves over more to holding men accountable for everything back then, whether it be punching a bully, being a loser in life, whatever it might be. You had to get on your stuff as a man. Nowadays, we have men that are just like little babies crying all the time, that women are out to get them, crying about this and crying about that, and my child support, and then this, and then this, and then the woman's so bad and so evil. It's like, bro, stop being a loser, grab your balls and get it together. One more time, really severe language warning, all this, but this is what happens when a man goes without, like Loren says, has problems with women, and then after years and then being in the manosphere and other hateful environments, finally just loses it essentially.
So I said fuck it and ordered me a goddamn sex doll. the fucking real reason behind this goddamn choice is because, let's be fucking real, I'm not getting any fucking pussy anytime soon. So I figured, fuck it. I live alone. I can walk around this bitch naked as fuck, and I can pull that fucking bitch out, make sure she's taken care of, pull that bitch out, and just ram my fucking dick down her fucking throat. I got that realistic ass.
Now, to your credit, Loren, yeah, maybe marriage would have helped him a bit. However, it would have definitely been a certain type of woman that he would have had to be with, because this dude is a bit out of there.
That's fucking moaning fucking porn star voice, my nigga, for an extra fucking $300. Fuck it, my nigga. Live life like it's your last, my nigga, because your bitch ass can be taken out the game any fucking time soon, man. You feel me? So yeah, my nigga, I'm gonna fucking whip my dick out and I'm gonna be fucking the shit out that bitch, man. I mean, the way I see it, my nigga, fuck it. I mean, like, who gives a shit, nigga? At least this motherfucking way, you don't have to sit back and deal with some annoying ass nagging fucking woman bugging the fuck out of you, annoying the shit out of you, fucking complaining and shit all fucking day, just bitching like a motherfucking newborn.
And just look at his eyes, you know. I mean, look at his eyes. There's
a demon.
Sick.
It's
Yes,
it's
that's
a demon,
demonic
bro.
eyes.
Absolutely.
I cast you out.
Sick eyes.
Absolutely. He's got something inside of him. Absolutely. And I know we have people, there are some people that practice working in black magic and things of that nature. And I don't want to, yeah, there are people that practice witchcraft that watch my channel. You know, I know a couple of subscribers doing, you know, I don't know everything about everything. But I do know when something's off, right? And there's something off here. There's something even further than this. But once again, this is the problem with the Manosphere, is that these spaces enable the energies that are inside of a person to fully engulf them, right? Whereas maybe there was a bit of hope beforehand. And if the Manosphere didn't exist, if there wasn't a place where men could go online and talk like the Elliot Rodgers did, the kid that went up and shot 13 girls at random and killed 13 girls because no girl wanted to hop inside of his Mustang. But beforehand, he was on incel forums on Reddit for years on hand, right? Maybe if there wasn't that type of environment, it would never manifest to that level. But now when we see that there's more than 5 to 10 million YouTube subscribers that actively participate in the Manosphere on a monthly basis, now we start to have issues, right? So Manosphere, man, you can get upset at me all you want, but these are your brethren. These are the guys that you fight wholeheartedly for, right? These are the guys who you are giving your daughters up for, right? These are guys that you're telling me that I need to be just like. And I'll never be like this, no matter what you say. Neither will the men on this channel. They'll never be like this. So
period.
It's yeah, but yeah, that is one thing I noticed the second time watching around. I said, man, his eyes are really telling something right now. Go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex. Oops.
Never in my life when I joined the Manosphere. I'd rather because I find older women attractive, and so I'd rather be with them than to ever think about going on to the Manosphere. So.
Absolutely, Alexander. I'm right there with you. Mark, yeah, I see your comment here. He was upset because no girls in the Hollywood Hills, I assume, wanted to perform fellatio on him. Yeah, you know, but like I said, they get in these forums, they get in these online subreddits and things of that nature, and then they just lose their mind, right? They just go off the deep end. Jedi Mike, while I switch over videos, the floor is yours if you like.
Yeah, it's basically what it is having a carnal mindset. When you're being led by the flesh, it's very tempting to the point where you have no control. You have literally lose your mind. I'm saying as men, because we are more, I guess, ruined by our terms of our flesh and sexual nature more than women do. And even though I'm not saying that women don't like sex as well or anything like that, I'm just saying in terms of statistically, historically, whatever, we do have in terms of a dominant spirit in terms of that we have that is not as being controlled as much as we should. And that's what I'm saying, when you have the right self-discipline. Because listen, I had relationships in the past, whatever, you have stuff that happen, and many times whatever, you have sex and stuff, but at the same time that stuff is, I'm not saying not good, but at the same time, when that just runs your life to a point, and as a man, it controls you, and to a point where, there are some people who use it against you to a point like manipulation, whatever. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be led by the flesh, be led by the spirit, and mean that he's not. When you're leading to that, you're going to be leading to toxic things. That henceforth, you're going to reap what you sow. You reap into toxicity, you're going to get what's coming to you. Everything is like, and with the with the terms of the mentality that's pitching with the young males, because that's it's the anger, bitterness, and rage. The fact that, listen, it's men's responsibility. The reason why you're not gaining successful relationships. I've been in you honest truth. You said it too. There's an age of immaturity when, as a man, you're growing where you have this, like, man, why not me? Or man, all these women, this and blah blah blah. It happens. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think there's not a single dude in his life who have at least had one moment of this that once like thought in his head, at least once, yeah. Right? But I'm saying having that humility of saying, like, listen, I mean, I was wrong. Where you're not putting your excuses. I said, true masculinity. I'm saying is taking full, true accountability for all your actions. Like I said, the response about life is was 20% of what happened to you, 80% of how you respond. But yet, you know, if the 20% of life happened to, it's all just about, oh, you know, divorce court, oh, the, you know, women, feminism, all this stuff like that. Listen, there's many things that you can do, and I'm not going to say there ain't situations that can happen towards men that they can be taken advantage of. However, there are many things, precautions actually for you from preventing those situations. For example, know who you sleeping with. No, I mean, it's a simple question. Know who the hell you're sleeping with. Marry before you carry. Some people don't like this because it have this delayed self-gratification because that urge is so strong. But when you have that 2 seconds of urge and then yet 18 years of things you might want to regret because of what happened, when you can just take 2 seconds of patience, you know, like, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's about self-control, self-discipline, and actually self-accountability is true masculinity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Perfect.
Can I
go ahead, Lorraine, of course.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say that, like, you know, just looking at this guy right now, and the men like him and the followers that he has, he really seems like he's too far gone because his eyes really look crazy. This is like a rapist waiting to happen. This is a murderer waiting to happen. He looks like he's capable of anything. But
yeah, I know.
I mean, and it's like, I don't know if marriage would help him now. But what I'm saying is that I know men that got married and settled down and are living a comfortable, happy life. And they say, had I not met my wife, I don't know where I would be right now. I don't know how I would have turned out because I was going all the way left and my wife stopped me and she said, no, that's not for you. You need to come this way. This is the direction that you should go. And men say all the time, my wife helped to calm me down. My wife helped to tame me. I was always fighting. I was always, you know, I had to react. I had to overreact at every insult. And if not for my wife, you know, teaching me and being patient with me, and you know, I don't want to leave her before I'm supposed to, you know, having to jump off because somebody said something. Now I have the ability to walk away. Now I have the knowledge not to do this and not to do that because she helped me in this way, and you know, she's not like raised me, but she's just taught me stuff. And you know how we always say women see things differently than men do. Women use a different part of their brain than men use. That's how come men are better when they are married men. Men become better. Like men become stronger. They become smarter. They become elevated in so many parts of their lives when they commit to a woman. Because this is what happens when you don't. This is what happens when you think you don't need women. And this is what happens when you think this man would be a totally different man had he been married to a woman, probably a woman that wanted him a long time ago, that he turned down for some dumb reason. You should have got with her. Because you wouldn't be this creature that you are today had you settled down sooner. Men are always better. They live longer. They're healthier. Men are always better when they marry and they settle down and they calm down. And we're better too. But men really, a lot of men, he's not all men, but I really think a lot of men need to be married.
Yeah.
It's so true. Go ahead, Jedi.
And the well point you're making and saying, listen, this is as real men. I think I said true positive masculinity is also is a good supplement to true women's femininity. I'm saying it's like having women relaxing, say, listen, you don't have to bear this pressure that we were supposed to hold on to you. I'm saying as Black men, I'm saying we have to reclaim our throne. I'm saying, I mean, so we have to reclaim what as historically what true Black men, true Black women together have unifying relationships. And listen, I'm not going to say marriage is for everyone. I'm not going to say that most people don't want to get married, whatever like that. However, I am saying that it is proven the fact that people are in better, healthy relationships when they are married, and then product of children. And I'm not saying that just because you might be the exception, or you might actually had a child, you weren't married, but yet you had your kid is still a productive citizen to society and good, healthy adult. I'm not saying that you don't exist. I'm just saying the fact that if we want to switch that percentage of us being 80% out of wedlock, having high incarceration rates, with our linked to having unmarried parents and having children being born in that, and the conception of marriage, then I'm saying we have to have that discipline, saying, listen, like for me, and I appreciate your comment, Lorraine, last live, about marriage and stuff. Listen, I am not rushing at any time soon to get married. Yes, there was a moment, at least about a year or two ago, that I was thinking about it, and because most of my friends who are non-black, they're getting engaged and stuff. I have a roommate that's getting engaged, and we're getting married next month, and another one I have a wedding in July. And now this is a kind of a more I won't say white, but kind of Christian culture where people in young early 20s are actually one getting married now. But even then, I realized that for me, I know that I'll be in the best position to be the best, not only husband, but best father, by knowing that if I actually put my head down, work on not only that my mindset, my resources, investment, my degrees coming around the corner, but I'm using that to know that I'll be in the better position, whether in my late 20s, early 30s, that I'll be in the best position to be a father, to have the money that matches the mindset, that matches everything. So that way that I will be the actual asset to my woman, to my wife, and to my children, not be a liability.
You sound like you're getting the whole package together. I told you last time, you're right. You're a king in training. Don't rush to marry. Don't rush. And while you're working, don't slip up and have no kids either. Save all of it. But get the whole package together the right way. Do things in the order they're supposed to be done. Do things the right way. There's a scripture that I was thinking about. It was just looking at this guy. The scripture basically says, when you remove something, something bad, like a bad habit, you have to replace it with something else. If you just leave it open, 7 demons worse could come in and turn you into a creature like this. If you replace it with something good, I don't know, go study how underwater works, something like that. Go study underwater life or something like that. Fill it with something positive. Why would you be this excited about a plastic doll that you're going to get to have sex with? That is a sad life to live. This is just sad and pathetic.
It's life without, right? It's pathetic and life without purpose. Yeah. Read a damn book. Actually increasing your financial literacy. Increasing your financial literacy. Learn actually talking about investment, stocks, cryptocurrency, or anything like that. Actually, I'm not making no disrespect to him, because I'm this. I used to be I used to do sports when I was in high school, and I stopped. But I'm back in the gym and stuff like that. But not only that, you go into the gym. Listen, I know I'm not giving this playbook. I'm speaking to brothers here. Listen, women are watching, even though you don't think they are. They're watching the fact that you are going to the gym, that the way you dress, because it is about how you conduct yourself. It's about how you speak and articulate your words. When I've seen a lot of dudes talking about having the pants sagging behind, they're behind, that's trifling. When you have people cussing and spitting out to elderly, not respecting the elders even there, or saying, not even talking this, what I mean, I'm saying, no, the hell we don't. You didn't say anything yet. That's a reality. And that's what I'm saying, is the fact that you have to watch in terms of what you say and what you do. And people are watching if you don't. I'm saying, I had one person one time, listen, I encourage any band, listen, one, buy a suit. You don't have one, get one. Buy, go get a suit, go to Men's Warehouse and stuff like that. Even if it's not just for church, just to say, listen, bring back, especially black men, bring back black professionalism, knowing the fact that actually black men are businessmen, not thugs, not rappers, not this to perpetuate that actually been keeping men in bondage. Do we think that's all we can be? And it's absolutely not. It's only a fraction. So I'm saying, when you take control of your life back and reclaiming your throne, I'm saying women are coming to follow. But if your only priority is just getting tail and all that stuff, listen, you're gonna be, basically be getting a pick, because I'm not trying to be in the real, but listen, it's you're wasting your time on that. What investing wasn't valuable. All the assets about women and children and all that stuff, that will come. But the worst thing as a man in early 20s that has lack of ambition, lack of resources, and lack of any mental, emotional intelligence stuff is bringing a child into this world. That is the worst thing that you can do, and you basically setting yourself up for failure from actually having a story of basically have a story of redemption. You know, it's like, listen, I know I lost my way and maybe in my late teens, early 20s, whatever, but you have time. You bring a child there, you automatically are screwed and would have basically cut that time off you could have spent actually building yourself as a productive adult and also as a man to actually be a better father and also a better husband.
Absolutely, absolutely, so true. I want to play this video really quickly. Black guy named I Heart Memphis. He's a TikTok star. This is his girlfriend. I think they've been together for a long time. You know, interracial relationship. Hey, listen, I'm happy for him. You know, the bigger thing is with me, just don't go disparaging any race. You know, if you have your preference, then by all means date whoever you want to date. But I want to play this video in credit to what Loren was saying, but just how different men act when they are in the presence of a woman and a woman's touch. Right? Play this really quickly.
I love my mommy.
Oh, baby.
You love me?
Yes.
What are you? Whoa, chill out!
What?
What are you doing?
It's just for Snapchat, Keontae.
Why are you recording though?
What?
Right.
You
So
love me?
obviously this is an acting video, whatever it might be. They're TikTokers and stuff like that. But there's some truth to this, right? There's some truth to this. A woman does change a man. A woman does. It softens him. It does change you, and it changes you for the better most of the time. Now that's a satirical video, but this is in essence true to a very large extent. And the problem in EDP's case is that that woman's touch would have, like Loren said, changed him quite differently as well, right? So we're going to continue going with this and seeing a little bit more in the video, and then we'll start to wrap it up and end it here in a little bit. I try not to make the lives too long. I know y'all love the live longs. Or I know you love the long lives. Jeez, love the long lives. Love the long lives. I'll say that 10 times fast, right? But for the sake of analytics, I can't make them too long. What I'll start doing though is live streaming more often, as long as the content is solid and things of that nature. I'm going to try and do this every 2 to 3 days, at the most 3 days. But I should be back in 2 days. Okay, so I plan my lives ahead of time, and we'll have more content continuously dropping every couple of days. All right, but I'm going to play a little bit more. We'll see what we can see, and then we'll do our final words after that.
So imagine if that person was a dad and they heard what you were doing here today. I apologize. I'm sorry.
And you got very graphic with her. Like you wanted to also role play with her. Now, by role play, do you mean like roll around like you do when you walk, or do you mean like actually take physical roles?
Actually, take physical.
Okay. So what kind of role playing do you want to do? Because you didn't really get into what roles you want to play. Like,
Well, he called her like princess and stuff in the chats, and he said he wanted her to climb onto him.
Yeah.
Do all these disgusting graphic things.
What?
I'm recording.
Okay.
That's fine. I have it.
Okay. So again, with
By the way, we're filming for safety.
yeah, safety reasons. So make sure you get all those.
That's not.
So
It doesn't let me record at all.
on there.
It's full.
Oh, okay. The memory card.
Yeah, it's HD.
Yeah. Okay. So
Did you ever ask for graphic photos from this girl? I did, but I never received them. You know what?
We'll try and see what happens at the end
Oh,
here.
man, I don't want to
Go
say
ahead.
you guys.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't interrupt. This is
Go ahead.
So he calls somebody. Let me see who calls.
He's calling a friend right now.
Yeah, he's at the apartment.
He's calling a friend right now. Philip.
Just please come. It's in Bakersfield.
All right, so I assume he walks off. There's probably not too much more to this video, and it'll end that chapter of EDP445's life, right? Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we talk about everything on this channel is because of situations like these. The reason I made this channel, or at least started making videos like this, because once again, I say this, and I was once a part of the hateful group of men that are in the manosphere for a long time, until I had to wake up and realize that I myself am part of the problem, and I'm the biggest problem to myself. It's not a woman. It's not anything else but me. I'm the reason that I'm a failure. I'm the reason that my life is in shambles. I'm the reason that everything negative that's happened to me, for the most part, has happened, right? And it wasn't until I accepted that I finally started to do better in life. The reason that the manosphere and men in the manosphere who watch your that type of content, the reason why if you're watching me right now, you'll continue to fail is for your lack of acceptance, for your lack of accountability, for your lack of maturity. And it's just a lot of lacking until you wake up flat on your face in a bad situation like EDP, or in jail due to your rage, your uncontrollable, insatiable appetite for watching and wanting to see the entire world burn in front of you, and burning down the systems and the courts and this and that, and wanting to see full and utter retribution against capitalistic America. Until you finally wake up from that truly demented state of mind, you'll always fail in life. no matter if you hate me, love me, no matter what you do, you'll always fail in life. Even if you have all the money in the world, you'll still be a failure in life because, as we said on this live stream, your solid foundation is not solid. It's crumbling and withering away out from under you. So everything you work for, it's going to be for nothing at the end of the day. You have nothing worth living for because you are worth nothing yourself, right? So I want to do closing final statements, and then we're going to end this, wrap this up, y'all, and I'm going to see you in a couple of days. We'll start with Alexander. Alexander, your final statement, sir. It's good to have you on the panel. Go ahead.
Yeah, and from my experience, I wanted to reach higher than maybe anyone in the world, but I realize that it's going to take some time and everything else. And what I really want to say um is sooner or later, when God comes back, when he does come back, he's going, and because I read the Bible, he's going to judge the dead first, because we all know when God returns, the dead will rise. So, and when they are judged, anything that they didn't repent, they go, well, I don't want to say, we already know those who didn't repent. Yeah.
That's so true, Alexander. Thank you for being on the panel, Alexander. We'll see you soon, buddy. Take care. Alexander Brennan, always good to have him on. There's something about innocence. That if you're a believer, God spoke pretty authoritatively on the children and them being protected. And God said that every sin is equal, but He also did say in the Bible, in the good word. And I know a lot of us aren't Christian and things of that nature, but like I always say, if you believe in the Bible and the 10 Commandments, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, don't anything, the world would be a perfect place. So you don't have to believe in God, but there are some good things in the Bible. And Jesus did say that. If out of all the sins, for you to harm a child is the worst sin, essentially, and He said that in a nice way. But He said that that's the one sin that He looks very harshly on, right? So I just want to say that and kind of back up what Alexander's saying there. Loren, I'll have you go, and then we'll finish with Jedi Mike. Thank you so much, Loren.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's true. Jesus said, anyone who harms a child, a fatherless child, or a widow, basically anyone that is vulnerable, anyone that doesn't have protection, anyone that's kind of out there in the world, like on their own or by themselves, but especially children, So I mean, I don't know. I'm tired of this whole conversation. I don't know why people try to defend this stuff at all, because it's a very sick and twisted logic and explanation. And I don't care. I just think if you're going to be that bold and that ballsy to go out and actually seek out a child, then man, you deserve anything that happens to you. And I do want to say that it's just very noticeable to me. It's always been noticeable to me how much more men thrive when they calm down and when they settle down. Men can have their heyday, they can have their time where they're doing whatever they want, but at some point in time, once you settle down and once you calm down, you just become a better person. Because if not, every man that may not need to do that, but a lot of men do. A lot of men do need that, because it's just like this direction for their lives. I mean, I just think that guy EDP just turned out, it's like the worst case scenario. That's what I feel like could be your direction. If you don't have self-control and you don't have self-discipline, that's like the worst case scenario. So yuck, that's disgusting. I don't care. Please lock him up and throw away the key. Whatever. Good night.
Absolutely. Completely agree, Loren. Always glad to have the CEO of Unique Boutique Candles on the channel. Make sure that once again you check out uniqueboutiquecandles.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't just say it to say it. I wouldn't just say something that I don't stand firm and behind. I get a lot of emails from people that want me to promote their website or product, and for the most part, I don't do that. But that link in the description box will definitely help you out. Trust me, you get what you pay for, and your money is well invested when you shop with Unique Boutique Candles. Just trust me on that. Also, the scent that I recommended is sold out right now, but I'm getting ready to try a couple new scents in the future. So maybe a review part two is coming up here in the future, Loren. And we have some things in the work as well. So until then, Loren, take care. Okay.
Bye.
The lovely Loren. Love having Loren on. Love having Loren on. Jedi Mike, the
Great.
floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Like once again, I'm a loss of words with this topic going on. Listen, it's like I come from a product of my mother. You know, she was been I don't know if I ever shared this with you before, but yeah, but my mother, she'd been molested, she'd been raped and everything, beaten and stuff like that before she even met my father. But and I don't know, there's a certain type of rage I'm supposed to have into when a situation like this arose. But at the same time, I also have to fear myself. And listen, we are also potential of this spirit. We as men, we have the potential to become this. And I'm saying if we don't actually prioritize, like listen, it's like we know like I said, we have a lot of power that we can do, and that power can be used for to use to build, or can use to be destruction. And you know, great power come great responsibility, that they said, you know. But I'm saying that listen, I'm saying this, black men reclaiming our image. This is a consistent thing that's going on the last few months, and I'm getting kind of pretty frustrated right now about this, because like now we have to. There's no time to play anymore. It's like whereas like we are just wasting sitting back and watching this, having consistent pattern of this degradation on our image, and we have us to blame for it. And I'm saying when I mentioned about, you know, taking care of yourself, stop wasting masturbating all day, which lowers your testosterone, which actually makes you less active to actually do something, actually go outside, enjoy the sunlight, actually have a life of seeking purpose. When you seek purpose, you seek stability. When you seek purpose, you seek foundation. And when that happens, that consistency, I'm telling you, women will follow. But then listen, you want to go chase tail, go also the girl that we basically create the woman you complain about when you're chasing this tail, you know, Greg Adams and all this stuff that, you know, saying why women taking advantage of all this money and blah blah. You're basically creating the women you complain about. Point blank, period. So when that happens, you have no one else to blame but yourself. But you want the woman that actually is going to be on your side when you're broke, when you're down. Actually, the woman that you claim that women have lost order and lost their way. If that's what you're saying, then I'm saying to be consistent, be about the business, prioritize your family, prioritize purpose, and more importantly, prioritize relationships. I'm saying your woman is an asset to you, and on consistency, if she's down, and then you have to uplift her. You up down, she uplifts you. But I'm saying without that consistency, there's nothing. I'm saying, and with the EDP and all this stuff, young males are watching this, and we have to put that image back in numbers of positivity, because this is be toxic. And when we have that consistency, EDP won't even see the light of day when this thing happens.
Absolutely. The Jedi Mike. So good to have you on, like always, my brother.
Yeah, man. And
I
listen,
don't say that
man.
lightly.
And I just want to say thank you, man. I also I'm finishing exams this week and stuff, but the channel will be coming soon. Cause I realized now I'm like, you're not gonna be doing this stuff alone. I'm gonna be by your side, helping you out and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, once I get the exams and stuff, you know, it's time to prioritize. So
Definitely, man. Hey, it's just a matter of time. You let us know when. We got you. All right.
All right, man. All right, you be blessed, man.
All right, Jedi. Be safe, man. The Jedi Mike once again on the panel, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great stream. We had a couple new guests in the building, and so it's always good to have y'all in the building. I see Mark Richardson. I saw, what was the name I saw earlier? Creole. I think Creole. I haven't seen your name before. Once again, if you're a winner of the Unique Boutique Candle giveaway, make sure to follow Unique Boutique Candles on Instagram. You have 24 hours. Rewind the stream to see the order of the winners. If you do not claim your prize, we'll have another one in the next stream. We'll be back in a couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap this up. I know I'm like a preacher, and I always go another 5 minutes. It's always good to have you on the platform. I really do say and mean that. I say that all the time, but I really do mean that. It's been a great stream. The next stream we have is, I don't want to give too much information on it, but another groundbreaking stream. You're not going to want to miss this. We dig deeper into the rabbit hole that is the delusional, dysfunctional, toxic manosphere, right? Now we're talking about all races at this point, because we're starting to see that this is afflicting all races in different forms. So it's been an honor having you with me. I can't thank you enough to all the contributors. If you donate to the Cash App or the PayPal, I appreciate that. I haven't checked yet, but I do appreciate that. A lot of the time I don't see it until after the stream ends. I love you all as you go through the rest of your week. Until we see each other again, be safe, live life to the fullest, live life responsibly, watch over your loved ones. Life is short, life is fleeting, everyone, and we only live one time. So make sure that you live and do everything that you want to do responsibly, of course. Another one for the books. Julissa Monet says, good to see you in here. Lisa Ray, absolutely love mangoes in the building. Taylor Beauty in the building. Mocha Mommy in the building. Mike Anderson in the building. Organic Black in the building. The names I always see the most: Magnificent Run, Caramel Baby. Was that Black Light Revelations? All of y'all in the building. Y'all are wonderful. I love you all. If I didn't get your name this time, I'll get it next time. I'm so sorry. Laura Garrow, love you. Until then, y'all take care. I'll see you in the next one.